What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Friday. TGIF, baby. Appreciate you making us a part of your start. If you are already up and at it here this morning, whether you are listening and tuning in on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online, WAYYradio.com, sportstalk1051.com. Got your smart devices, smart speakers, your Alexa devices and such. But you got the video stream also on YouTube, Man Cave TV. You can tune in to that. Multiple different ways for you to be joining in. And then you got the Shoe Doctors bullpen line where you can join in the conversation. 715-830-1912. And, of course, the Section 105 chats. What do we have on our game plan for us this morning? We got Brewers-Dodgers to preview. 3-game series that begins tonight. We got Logan Henderson's going to get the start for the Brew Crew. On the other side, you got another young pitcher, Justin Robleski, going for the Dodgers, who is 6-1 so far this season with a 2.49 ERA. He's coming off of a win against the Angels back on the 16th, where he went 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and just 1 walk, 5 strikeouts too. We'll break that down in a little bit more detail coming up here in just a little bit. But Brewers-Dodgers coming in with the Brewers looking for their 30th win on the season. They're currently standing at 29-18, where the Dodgers are 31-8 or 31-19. 29-18 for the Brewers, 31-19 for the Dodgers. So lots of baseball talk here this morning as we get set for this series and this Brewers team that has been playing incredibly well as of late. Can they continue that run? Can they continue to play at an incredibly high level? We shall see, right? So we got that coming up here. We're going to talk with Brandon Berg as usual on every Friday morning around a little past 7 o'clock. We'll do some Carpet City Flooring Center local sports roundup. We've got we got some baseball brackets out for the high school teams, mostly Division 2, 3, 4. Just a couple teams that got some high seeds here. We're still waiting on Division 1, but in Division 2, Altoona is a 2 seed. Division 3, Fall Creek is a 1 seed. Boyceville Elk Mound are 2 seeds. Eau Claire Manual Lutheran is a 1 seed in Division 4. So we'll go through all that, plus some softball, track field, and all that good stuff with Brandon Berg coming up a little bit later on for our local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. We got some AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes and Full Throttle, so we'll hit that up too. That'll be in the 8 o'clock hour. We got a little cream of the crop. We'll hit that up right before we do some Pump the Brakes or Full Throttle. We got some Inside the Trading Room. We're going to talk with Dr. Crow coming up next hour, a little under an hour from now. Brought to you by Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. I definitely want to ask him, as from his side, from his profession, from his expertise, what when he sees Jacob Mizorowski and the amount of force, miles per hour that is behind his fastball from an orthopedic surgeon standpoint, his concern level. I mean, it's kind of hard probably from the outside just to kind of look in. There's so many other variables that exist with that, but I'm just kind of curious to get his thoughts and opinions on that too. So we'll get to that again, a little under an hour from now. Playoff-wise, if you've been following the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Knicks taking a 2-0 lead after their 109-93 win last night. Montreal takes Game 1 against Carolina, a 6-2 victory for Montreal last night. So, yeah, we'll maybe throw a little football chat into this, into the game plan here for this morning. We'll see where everything's at, but Bears fans I'd be kind of curious to hear from you about this whole stadium thing, because the Bears yesterday reiterated that they plan to leave Chicago as they continue to look at building a stadium in suburban Illinois or in Hammond, Indiana. The Bears said in a statement that they have exhausted every opportunity to stay in Chicago, which was our initial goal. There is not a viable site in the city. As a result, the only sites under consideration are in Arlington Heights and in Hammond. So, does it really matter? I honestly, I would really be curious. I know we've got one for sure. I know there's a couple of Bears fans that listen, but I would honestly be curious to hear their thoughts about Bears moving out of Chicago. Does it matter that much to them? Maybe not. I think, Packers fans, let's say like Green Bay, even if they moved within state, say they moved to like Milwaukee or something like that. I don't know if I'd like that. There's too much history. There's too much lore. There's too much. There's just, no. Don't do that. Even if they moved closer. I don't know if I'd like that. No. Even if it was still in the state. But yeah, we'll throw some football chats in here too. I know Green Bay's been doing some OTA stuff, and maybe you've been following along a little bit on social media and seeing some of the picks. Otherwise, it's been pretty quiet surrounding some of that stuff. It's been pretty behind closed doors in that. But and then whatever else. It is an open house party. It's TGIF. Whatever random trail we kind of go down, right? So, all right, let's get things going here this morning. Plus, I do want to and I want to talk a little bit more about this with Brandon, because Brandon follows it a little bit more, but just an awfully sad story yesterday with Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver, passing away at the incredibly young age of 41. Just kind of a weird story so far out there. Don't know all the details in that, but from what I had seen, they're saying from a severe illness, but there was apparently reports he was complaining of like a sinus infection, a head cold, and that, and now he's gone at the age of 41. Just a really, really sad story. And I, from the little bit that I know of NASCAR and such, I know earlier on in his career, he's kind of, I don't know if bad boy is the right way to kind of phrase it. Maybe got in some tussles and that, but it sounded like kind of calmed down, cooled off a little bit, but a two-time champion, cup champion and such. So just a young family too. So he hates hearing stuff like that. But just wanted to make sure we acknowledged and threw that out there too. But just an awful, awful, awful story. So. All right, let's take our first break, and then we'll get things going here on the leadoff. Let's talk a little Brewers and Dodgers to open it up here this morning, shall we? Brewers, Dodgers. We'll preview this series. We may even have to throw a little Brewers Cardinals into our preview, because we won't be here on Monday for Memorial Day weekend, so we may have to throw that one in there too. So let's pitter-patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then we'll jump right into the leadoff, talking some baseball, talking Brewers, Dodgers. Coming up after these quick words. If you're going to be hosting any maybe Memorial Day weekend get-togethers, grill-outs, barbecues, whatever the case may be, make sure you go and take advantage of the Memorial Day weekend sales at our friends at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. And check this out, too. They got a summer rib sale going on right now. Full slab of ribs are $12.99 each for the rest of the week. And if you have not tried those ribs from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, they do a fantastic job with that. You got the smoker outside when you enter the store. Oh, chef's kiss, baby. But don't forget to follow the Hy-Vee Facebook page. They've got all the flyers and sales and deals up there, so you can peruse it online before you stop in store and do a little shopping. And don't forget, to take advantage of the fuel parks. Save some money at the gas pump, too, by shopping at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Joe, you may need to go shop at Hy-Vee to load up the food pantry and such. That's cool. That's Joe, who's on our Section 105 chat room, saying it's officially baseball season. We pick up one of our Express players today. So that's cool. That Joe, it sounds like you're a host family. So very cool. Very awesome. I would imagine you're probably going to be at a lot of Express games this year, too. So Barb saying, good morning, world. Have a great day and weekend. Thank you to all who have served and are serving. Very well said, Barb. A very big tip of the cap, again, to everybody who has served and continue to serve, and those who are no longer with us that served as well. So let's get things going here this morning with the leadoff, shall we? Let's talk a little baseball, Brewers baseball. The excitement continues, baby, with the Brewers taking on the Dodgers starting tonight. What a great series we have on hand for Memorial Day weekend in Milwaukee. Dodgers, Brewers, two of the best teams in the National League and across the whole entire league, Major League Baseball. Brewers coming in looking for their 30th win. They're 29-18. The Dodgers are coming in 31-18. This is, I mean, the way the Brewers are playing right now, how can you not be excited for this series? It's going to be a tough one. No doubt about it. It's going to be tough, but an epic series on hand here. And if you're a Brewers fan, sure, be a little nervous, maybe be a little skeptical and such. But remember, Brewers just swept the Yankees. They just swept the Cubs. They've been going up against some really good opponents here as of late. And the Brewers, I'm sorry, but are 17-6 against teams who are over 500. Dodgers, they're just 10-8. Just 2 games above 500 against teams who are 500 or better. So, in terms of a pitching matchup here, we've got Logan Henderson. He's going to get the start for the Crew tonight. And he's coming off of his latest performance, picking up a win against the Twinnies back on the 16th. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. Logan Henderson, so far, what he has done in his 4 games for the Brewers. If you go and then you count that April 4 start where he just pitched 2 innings, let's just look at May. Okay, let's just look at May, where he's been more of a traditional starter since being called up. So 3 games in the month of May. He is 1-1 with a 2.81 ERA, 16 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, just 2 walks, and 20 strikeouts. In those 3 starts, 20 strikeouts, 2 walks. That is it. That's not a bad ratio whatsoever. Can he continue to, this is with Logan Henderson, with a rookie, youngster, right? Young pitcher. Can he continue to get better, more comfortable, stack success? That's what we want to see with some of these younger pitchers. Logan Henderson, sky's the limit for him. There's a lot of optimism. There's a lot of potential with him. Before the season began, there was a lot of talk about could he be a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. Was on a Rookie of the Year watch list for a lot of people. And if you look at the odds, he's he's on there, but I mean, he's like maybe close to 10th or something, and it just needs more starts, needs more opportunities maybe to move up on that list. And well, here you go. Here's a heck of an opportunity to make a really good impression going up against the Dodgers. He did go up against the Yankees. It was that Mother's Day game. No decision in that game, but he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, including that home run to Aaron Judge. But he has gone up against some pretty powerful lineups too. So another big opportunity here for Logan Henderson to showcase what he's got, what he has. On the flip side here, you've got Justin Robleski going for the Dodgers. And he has been off to a really, really good start this season. April, he was lights out. But he is 6-1 with a 2.49 ERA so far this year. In 8 games that he's appeared, he has started 7 of those games. He's not maybe a little bit more as of late here, but you look at, he's got a total of 27 strikeouts in 50 innings pitched here. But April, he was 4-0. 4-0 and 4 games started, a .69 ERA. Yeah, that's good. That is really, really good, really impressive. 3 games in the month of May, 2-1, 3.92 ERA. But he is coming off of a win back on the 16th where he went up against the Angels. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. The game prior to that, back on the 10th against the Braves, he went 8 2/3. 8 2/3. 7 earned runs, couple home runs, 7 strikeouts. But overall, a very successful season so far. And he's a lefty, so you can kind of imagine what the lineup is going to potentially look like here for the Crew tonight. Probably trying to get a little right-handed heavy with this lineup. Not a ton of experience, no experience for this Dodgers lineup going up against Henderson. Only a couple of ABs for some Brewers players going up against Justin here. We're talking like 1 or 2, so not really anything. Terang's 1 for 2. Yelich actually has a home run against him in his 2 career at-bats. He's 1 for 2. Cheerios 0 for 2. Mitchell's 0 for 2. So I'm wondering maybe a little... you would wonder maybe a little Gary Sanchez at DH. No, Yelly would probably still be. I don't know if they put Yelly in the left field to put Gary Sanchez at DH. Who knows? Well, we'll see what Pat Murphy has up his sleeve for this lineup today. But looking ahead to the rest of some of these matchups, if we look at tomorrow's matchup between Brewers and Dodgers. This one is Robert Gasser is going to get the starts. He is slated, the probable starter, to get the start. Sasaki is going to get the start for the Dodgers. And so far this season, in 8 games, he is 2-3 with a 5.09 ERA. He is coming off of a win against the Angels in his latest start, and he was pretty darn good, going 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and 8 strikeouts. But Robert Gasser, if you remember a couple years ago, began his career, probably exceeded all expectations. I mean, he began 2024, 5 games, was 2-0, had a 2.57 ERA, had big wins like against the Cubs, and then he had the Tommy John surgery. So last year, he appeared in 2 games started, 0-2, just 5 2/3 of an innings. Not a lot of production there, 3.18 ERA. And so it's still kind of building back, it feels like. Still trying to get back to that 2020 form that we saw with Robert Gasser. So far this year, just that 1 game started recently here. He went 4 innings, 4 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, so it's 4.50 ERA. But I think the optimism, at least I would hope so, that the optimism is still there for Robert Gasser to maybe get back to that 2024 version of him, right? Trying to get to what we saw there, because when we saw him come on the scene in 2024, it was like, dang, that's super impressive. And I think he is still, no question, a part of the long-term future of this starting rotation for the Brewers. And here we go. He's got an opportunity, kind of like a Logan Henderson, has an opportunity here to showcase that. But his last game, again, back on the 17th against the Twins, where he went 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, did strike out 3, did issue a couple of walks. I think he's just still kind of building up, trying to get back to that 2024 form. And then on Sunday, you've got Brandon Sproat on the mound, and Yamamoto is going to go for the Dodgers. Yamamoto is coming off of back-to-back losses, although his previous loss against the Padres, still a quality start because he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and 8 strikeouts. So far this year, he is 3-4 with a 3.32 ERA. Brandon Sproat. Now, he's coming off of a solid performance against the Cubbies. It was that 5th inning that kind of maybe, no, not kind of, it did come off the rails a little bit. No decision, but it was 4 2/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. Had the issue with the walks, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. It just seems like right now, Brandon Sproat, he's going to go about 4 innings. And then, depending on how the game's going, maybe a Chad Patrick, maybe a D.L. Hall type of player coming in for relief after him, hoping to go the distance after that. But it feels like Brandon Sproat maybe is that tag team, tandem, piggyback starter type of role. Who's going to be the pitcher that comes in after him? It might be another pitcher that just finishes off the inning, and then you go the distance with somebody else after that. I get it. You know, you look at some of the Brewers pitchers here. It's Logan, it's Brandon, it's Robert Gasser. No, it's not Mizorowski. No, it's not Kyle Harrison. Sure, you'd like to see those guys going up against this Dodgers lineup. But that Cubs series was a little bit more important. If we had to grade these series or which one was a little bit more important, it's the Cubs one. It's division, right? But still, these are still young, solid pitchers. These guys, Logan Henderson, Sproat and such, they're part of the reason why the Brewers are in the spot that they're in right now. And this is a great opportunity for these guys to go up against this lineup, this powerful lineup of the Dodgers, and to showcase what they got. To get that experience that'll hopefully help them when it comes to postseason time. That's the way I'm looking at it. Let's get this series win, but let's get some great experience going up against some powerful lineups for these younger pitchers, because it's going to happen in the postseason. I'd rather have them get that experience now than instead of the postseason. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. What's your prediction for this series? Send it on over to me. All right, text it. Join in on the Section 105 chat. How many wins for the Brewers in the series? Or do you think the Dodgers sweep? Or what's your prediction on this thing? All right, let's take a quick break. Get you a chance to send in your thoughts. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Summer is, well, it's the official kickoff of summer, right? With Memorial Day weekend, and that means it is time to get outside, make some memories, be ready for whatever the season brings. That's where Tilden Gun comes on in. Whether you, whether you're gearing up for target practice, heading to the range, or preparing for your next outdoor adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to get you set up right. Man, I'm choking up here. Hold on a second. Oh, man, nothing worse than that. Holy moly. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they've got everything that you need, all backed by knowledgeable service that you could trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy. It's about making sure that you feel confident, informed, and ready every single time that you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the outdoors, be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. Oh, choking up a little bit here on this Friday morning. MLB.com has ranked which heated division race will be the best. Where do Brewers and Cubs come in on this list? Not number one, but they do come in at number 2. So, number 1, by the way, was the Tampa Bay Rays and the Yankees. But it says a week ago, the Cubs looked like the best team in baseball and the class of a division that didn't have a single team with a losing record. But one home sweep at the hands of the Brewers now has the Cubs in the midst of a 5-game losing streak, knocking them out of first place and into the NL Central scrum that has all 5 teams within 5 games of each other. Still, even with the Cardinals surprising, the Pirates clearly improving, and the Reds very much hanging tough, the Cubs and Brewers look like the class of the division yet again. The issue with the Cubs has been their rotation, which has been absolutely ravaged by injuries and was hit with another one on Wednesday when Edward Cabrera had to leave his start early with a blister on his middle finger of the pitching hand. Cubs have the 19th best starter ERA in the majors, and some of that is boosted by pitchers no longer available. Meanwhile, the Brewers have the 3rd best rotation in the majors, led, of course, by Jacob Misiorowski, who might just be the most dominant starting pitcher in baseball right now. The Cubs are going to have to scramble to improve their starting pitching. The Brewers are not only set, but they got plenty of depth in a bullpen that's 6th best in baseball. Add that to a lineup that has Jackson Chourio back and Bryce Terang playing like a superstar, and it looks like the Brewers are just now beginning to hit their stride, even if they're not typically doing it with power. You don't want to be a prisoner of the moment here, but that 3-game sweep at Wrigley didn't look like an outlier. It looked like the future of this division again. Wow. That's a pretty high compliment for end of May. That last line there. You don't want to be a prisoner of the moments, but that 3-game sweep at Wrigley didn't look like an outlier. It looked like the future of this division again. Whew. Brewers fans probably saying, darn right. Darn tootin'. That's, yeah. This thing obviously is not over, man. It's not over. It's only May. It's going to be a race throughout the rest of the season. There's no question about that. There's probably going to be more than a few times that the Cubs are going to be back in first place. Heck, maybe even the Cardinals are in first place at some point. There's going to be this flip-flopping back and forth. And we're going to go through the waves of emotions here too. We're going to go through the highs. We're going to be pumped up if you're a Brewers fan like you are right now. Like this is awesome. We're on top of the world. And there's probably going to be a few times this year like, what the heck's going on? They need to do this. They need to do this. They need to trade for this person. They need to, get rid of this person. Call up Jed Williams and Cooper Pratt. We're probably going to get to a point where Joey Ortiz, we're complaining about him again. That's baseball in a nutshell. That's the baseball season. It's you go through the ebbs and flows and the highs and lows of everything. But that's why right now you're on a high as a Brewers fan. You should be excited. You should be excited, and you should be pumped up about what your team has done so far. Taking a sweep against the Yankees, taking a sweep against the Cubbies, taking 2 out of 3 against the Padres, and literally inches away from sweeping that thing. Taking 2 out of 3 against the Twins, even though those games were close. You should be pumped up and excited about your team right now. And since we're out on Monday, just to kind of preview it a little bit here as well, Brewers, after the Dodgers, well, they're going to be welcoming those pesky Cardinals to AmFam Field starting on Monday. So no break after this Dodgers series. You got a big divisional series coming up with the Cardinals. One of the biggest surprises, I would say, in Major League Baseball this year is the St. Louis Cardinals. Brewers, it's officially a little TBD, but we know Mizorowski's going to be pitching in this series. We know Kyle Harrison's going to be pitching in this series. So we kind of have a good sense of who's going to be going in this series against the Cardinals. It's a big stretch when you kind of, or in terms of looking at the schedule here. We talked about this stretch for May. After this Dodgers and Cardinals series, when you kind of look at June, there's another stretch of games here where you've got the Phillies, then you've got the Guardians, then you've got the Braves, and then you got the Reds and the Cubs. You want to talk about another crucial stretch coming up here in the middle of June. I know we got that's a ways here, but this schedule doesn't really lighten up here for the Crew, and a lot of that is because this NL Central teams are playing really well. There is no such thing as a gimme game, but the way that this division, this NL Central, is playing out so far this year, it's keeping everybody on their toes. No longer can you say, well, the Pirates series, that's going to be, a series win, or Reds or Cardinals were down last year. You kind of thought, okay, maybe a little bit, couple year break from them. Nope. They're playing high quality baseball too. And I'm not ready to close the door on the Cubbies. It's fun to trash talk, and because it's a division rival in that. Don't close the door on them though. They're still going to be a team that's going to threaten for the division and threaten the Brewers when it's all said and done. All right, we got to take our final break. We'll talk more baseball coming up next hour with Brandon when he's here with us. But we'll wrap up the first hour after these few words. Sunshine road trips and summer adventures are calling. Is your vehicle ready? At AGM Automotive in Eau Claire, they'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence. From AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections, AGM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. Don't let car trouble slow you down or your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. Coming up just past the top of the hour, we'll catch up with Dr. Crow for a little inside the training room. After that, Brandon will be joining us, and we'll get back to some more baseball talk and such, but also do some local sports roundup. Brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. We'll play a little Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, brought to you by AJM Automotive. So we'll get to that. And then Cream of the Crop. If you would like to make your selections for Cream of the Crop, you can let us know by hitting us up on the Shoe Doctors Bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or join in on the Section 105 chat room on our YouTube video stream. We've also got some quick, we'll maybe dabble a little into some of the playoffs that are going on right now. Knicks, and I don't know if anybody's really, at least in our listening area, kind of following too much with the NBA playoffs. But Knicks did jump out to a 2-0 lead after their win yesterday. Maybe a little bit of a surprise last night. Montreal taking down Carolina. Montreal scoring at 6 goals in game 1 of their series. So, not a whole lot in terms of the football world, but Matthew Stafford signed a 1-year extension. So that was probably to be expected. That's what we had heard after they had drafted Simpson in the first round too. But it's kind of, I mean, we've Packers fans have been down this path before when it's quarterback watch. It's probably a year-by-year basis now with Matthew Stafford and that. But NFL.com had each NFL team's next best Hall of Fame candidates. I would think that the NFC North, or for Green Bay, is pretty. Oh, okay. I like this. Whoever was this Eric that did this article? Yeah, Eric Edelman did this article. Good pull. Knowing the history of Green Bay, he said his pick was Jack Venisi. If you know your Packers history, bingo. I've been pounding that table for a long time. But he did say Aaron Rodgers will be a first ballot candidate in 6 years, and now eligible Clay Matthews has support after a shorter career but a dominant 7-year stretch. I don't think Clay Matthews is going to make it, but anyways. However, there is a real Hall of Fame impetus for the brilliant, oft-forgotten Venisi, who arguably isn't even the most famous person in his family. Younger brother Jerry was the general manager for the Super Bowl winning Bears in 1985. But Jack's impact on the game with the rival Packers is unquestioned. Considered one of the modern forefathers of player scouting, Venisi created from scratch an entire scouting blueprint and oversaw the acquisition of 8 Hall of Fame players, including Bart Starr, Forrest Gregg, Paul Hornung, Ray Nitschke, Jim Taylor, and others over an 11-year span. He was also instrumental in bringing Vince Lombardi to Green Bay, setting up the Packers' utter dominance of the 60s. Venisi didn't get to enjoy the fruits of his labor, dying at the age of 33 of a heart attack. The grassroots Team Venisi movement has swelled in recent years, making the overlooked genius a dark horse Hall of Fame candidate. Sign me up, co-sign that 100%, 150%. He deserves more attention and love than what he gets. And I think a lot of it is because, well, he passed away at such a young age at 33 and didn't get to enjoy the fruits of his labor. So, bingo, co-sign it. I think it's going to be a long path. He has been mentioned once in a while in contributors, but I'd throw in Lee Remmel as another name, and then, of course, Bob Harlan, too. But I think those are going to be uphill battles for some of those former Packers. Aaron Rodgers, lock. Just what? Yeah, don't even have to debate that one. That'll be a lock if he does retire after this year. I think he will. I know there's some people that are still skeptical about that. I think he's done after this year. But who knows? We'll see. Maybe they advance a little bit further and such, and maybe he gets that itch to, all right, let's try one more time. But all right. Anyways, just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour. So if you want, you can send me your predictions for this series. Text them on over for the Brewers and Dodgers. And if you want to throw a little Cardinals one in there too, since we won't be here on Monday to preview that, you can do that. But you can send over your cream of the crops. You can send those out. Who's been the cream of the crop, or what has been the cream of the crop for you for the past week or so? Can do that. And it's a little TGIF open house party too. You have a little fun with that. All right, let's wrap it up with Morgs. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, Kasper. Thank you for the nod to Boyceville in your sportscast this morning. That was nice. Girls are first ever conference champs for the softball team. Siggy's a part of that, so good group of girls out there. Appreciate the recognition. We didn't get to be in here Wednesday with you, though, so we have Wednesday wild card. So you're going to pick a number between 1 and 25, and whatever we ask you, you have to answer, all right?
Okay, 24.
24. What's a skill you're currently trying to learn from scratch?
From scratch?
Yeah, do you have any? Okay, it doesn't have to be from scratch. What's a skill you're currently trying to learn, or are you done learning?
Or maybe I've pondered learning.
Okay, we'll allow it.
Carving.
Like
carving.
wood?
Yeah.
What would you whittle?
I don't know.
Are you expecting prison time in your future?
That's a little deep or dark.
No. People pick up hobbies like that.
I want to do something like in the winter and that stuff. So, yeah,
okay, what do you want to carve? Like big time, like those bears with chainsaws?
No. Like I got some hand tools in that. So
what are you going to carve first?
Maybe some fishing lures or something. I don't know.
Okay, I like it.
Mini
all right.
Bigfoot statues.
You're going to graduate?
Yeah.
It's going to be a long winter to get to a Bigfoot sketch.
Yeah.
How about 1 to 25?
Let's go 12.
Something you're passionate about that surprises people who know you.
I think a lot of people are surprised to know that I go hunting.
Okay.
A lot of people have told me that over the years. I don't know why.
That you don't seem like a hunter for some reason?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. Everybody's surprised when they find out I go hunting.
Okay.
I don't know why, but.
Interesting. What about 1 to 25?
We'll go 4.
4. Oh, okay. If you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
How young?
Okay, let's sit you down. You're like 5, 6, not like an infant. Not like...
keep all of your Ninja Turtle toys.
Oh, man, you're still reflective on that.
Yeah,
you're
because
missing out.
I see some stuff on like Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I had a Ninja Turtle skateboard. Okay, I never skateboarded, but I had one. Full size.
Did you try skateboarding?
No.
Oh, because I got some wicked road rash taking a skateboard down a
driveway.
driveway.
Somebody on Facebook is selling it for a few $100. I had the same exact one, and it was in better shape.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to them and tell them that?
No.
Say, hey,
no.
I had a better one.
I did have a better one.
What'd you do with it? Do you remember?
I have no idea where it went. Probably on a garage sale or something.
I had the girl version of that because I had all the Care Bears and all the My Little Ponies.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea where they are now, but back in the day, those things, they apparently are cool again. Okay, pick another. Speaking
Last
of,
one.
let's do this one. What is a tradition that you want to pass down? Do you have any traditions?
I'll go back to hunting. I'd like to pass down that tradition to Hudson.
Like deer camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of that stuff. So
that's not so shit. Or hey, maybe wood carving once you get a handle on this thing.
Maybe I'll be a good whittler. All right. Thanks, Margs.
Anytime.
All right. We've got news updates. Hour 2 kicks off in just a couple minutes. All right, hour two is kicking off on this Friday morning, Friday of Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start here. We've got some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center coming up here in a little bit here with Mr. Brandon Berg. We'll play a little AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, cream of the crop, get back to some more Brewers versus Dodgers talk. We begin this hour like we normally do every Friday morning, catching up with the good doctor, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for a little inside the training room. Good morning, Austin. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
Hey, a lot of people wanted me to ask you this question here. So I know it's maybe a little bit more of a speculative question, but Jacob Mizorowski, who I know we've talked a little bit about and such, but
Yep.
I think a lot of people are just waiting for Tommy John or something bad to happen to his shoulder because he is consistently throwing over 100 miles per hour and deep into games. I guess the way I'm going to ask you about this is, as from somebody in your profession, when you see somebody who's still throwing 100 miles per hour in the sixth inning, late into games and such, do you get nervous? Like, is there anything you can kind of forecast from that? Does body type matter because he is tall and lanky at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that come into play. I mean, we've touched on this in the past in kind of generalities, but we do know there's a correlation with both increasing velocity and then rotation or spin on the baseball with injuries with pitchers, shoulders, and elbows. And so I think as a whole, if you have a pitcher who's throwing at really high velocities and has a lot of movement on their ball, that ball is moving and spinning through one thing and one thing only, the pitcher's arm, right? So that's what delivers all the energy to the ball. And so because of that, you do have, the increased risk of injury because they're pushing it to the limit. Now, on the flip side, some people are built different, right? So, I mean, there are guys who can just throw like that over and over and over, and they just don't have problems. And so I think one of the biggest things you look at is track record, because once a pitcher starts having some issues, that's where huge initial red flags go up. And to my knowledge, he's had no serious shoulder or elbow injuries in the past that I know of. So that certainly bodes well. And yeah, his frame, I mean, he's built kind of like Randy Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, big, tall, big levers. So they're able to throw and put more velocity on because of the long arm. So, I mean, on the whole, is a pitcher like that have a risk of a shoulder or elbow problem? Absolutely. Is he, I'd say, the highest risk compared to some? I'd say no. I mean, again, you look at his track record, look at his body type. I think those are both big positives for him. And, they're going to play it safe. I mean, I think the old days of like, look, it's the ninth inning, you got to grit it out to get the complete game. We just don't do that anymore with pitchers, right? So they start showing signs of fatigue. The coaches are quick to pull them. And so as long as the pitcher is being honest with the issues they're having with the shoulder, elbow, if they do pop up, hopefully you can catch it early before it becomes a big problem. But yeah, I mean, you can look at the history of pitchers who, had all the talent in the world, and then they got, clipped by injury after injury, like Strasburg. That was probably 10 years ago. I mean, remember when he came in the league, he was just a phenomenal pitcher. And then he had, I think it was, did he have 2 Tommy Johns, I think? But he never came back to what he was before. And so, as soon as you see the first one, I think that's when I would really start getting worried. But as of now, I would say hopefully he's able to have a good career without any of these type of problems, or at least anytime soon.
The one thing that he has been kind of dealing with has been, some cramps in his hamstring. Is that something just because, pitchers do use their lower body a lot and he is a taller pitcher? Is that something to kind of be worrisome with a cramp in the hamstring?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has to do with that. I mean, the arm is what ultimately delivers the energy to the ball, but the push off is obviously huge, right? And so a big, tall guy like him, he's able to push really quite hard. So I'm sure that does play a role. I wouldn't be concerned about like long-term problems with that. I mean, it is kind of a weird thing to be dealing with, having repetitive issues with that, but my guess is it's kind of fluke and should maybe there's like a little low-grade injury to the muscle that is just kind of causing these problems, but I don't envision it being a huge issue. Not a concern.
I want to go to football here because John Harbaugh talked a little bit about Malik Neighbors, the talented wide receiver for the Giants. And Malik Neighbors last year tore his ACL in September. He underwent, they said, an original surgery, which included a full meniscus repair. several weeks later. And then it says here, a second surgery was required recently to remove scar tissue that was causing stiffness. But Harbaugh said, he's in the middle of it. It's such a hard thing. It's an ACL, and whatever else he had in that knee, it's not a simple knee injury. When you hear stuff like that, and you hear that, they're not quite sure on a return date, do your kind of alarms go up a little bit with that knee recovery?
Yeah, I mean, so scar can be one of two things. The scar tissue comment could be related to something called a cyclops lesion. So after we reconstruct the ACL, so we drill tunnels in both the tibia and up and through the femur, either a little bit of the graft can peel down and make a scar ball, or scar can basically kind of grow up out of the tunnel or in that front of the knee. And when an athlete brings the leg into full extension, aka all the way straight, that scar can pinch. And it creates a little ball that looks like a single eye, hence the term cyclops, like the Greek monster, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the term comes from. But it's basically a single ball of scar in the front of the knee. That's relatively common. That's actually a relatively straightforward procedure. You scope it, remove it, and that can help. The other possibility would be excessive scar tissue around the knee, the whole joint, and creating stiffness. That's pretty rare. And I would tell you, a guy getting rehab like that, I would say it's not that. So I would almost, bet my bottom dollar that it's going to be a cyclops lesion, which just happens. I mean, it's just, those of us that do ACLs, just sometimes you get them. And so to go back in there and do that is a simple problem. So that I wouldn't put too much concern into. When you start saying, well, the timeline's a little uncertain because of a more complex knee problem, we know he had an ACL, we know he had a meniscus repair, and those are both relatively straightforward. The bigger question is was there any cartilage injury, which we've talked about ad nauseum in the past, because that's really where you get into, all of a sudden, predictability goes right out the window. I mean, we see people with cartilage damage, doesn't bother them much. Some people, they can hardly walk and they end up having to have additional procedures, and certainly would put an NFL career in jeopardy without a doubt. So, is there red flags? Absolutely. Maybe he's just alluding to the scar tissue and he just doesn't really understand it, and so he just kind of makes that off-the-cuff comment. I don't know. But if it is just simple cyclops, he'll bounce right back and do fine. If it's a bigger problem with like a cartilage or recurrent injury to the meniscus, then certainly the predictability on long-term and short-term, frankly, are both up in the air.
Yeah, I was just because I think with the Bakhtiari stuff that we went through a few years ago, and you educating us with the cartilage thing. Now it's just every time I see knee injury and maybe not going as a smooth recovery, that's the first thing I think about now is the cartilage of that knee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is those sometimes present immediately. So there are a good number of athletes will do the ACL reconstruction, go inside and say, look at that spot, he's already got damage. Sometimes there's a really bad bone bruise and the cartilage looks okay. Now, in the MRI, you'll see a big bruise behind the cartilage, but that cartilage injury, the bone injury came from an impact through the cartilage. So sometimes 6 months, a year, 2 years later, all of a sudden they start showing up and it's like, now I'm getting some weird new pain, and you get an MRI and now all of a sudden there's a cartilage injury and it is universally right where that bone bruise was. So it's like a delayed presentation. So yeah, whenever people have an atypical recovery after an ACL, that is certainly high on the list of concerns. Could it be the graft potentially? Could it be a meniscus potentially? But the cartilage, that's kind of the one that we really don't have always good solutions for. And so, it unfortunately that does happen. It'd be great if we had an easy solution someday to say, look, we can just, inject some new cartilage there or do something. We just don't have those solutions. So you start getting into these problems where it's like, we don't always have a good solution. And then, at that point, you're kind of shifting gears, when you're talking with the athlete, like, look, we're trying to get you a leg that functions well and gives you a good, stable leg the rest of your life, or at least as much as we can. And you don't want to say you can't get back to athletics, but it puts it in jeopardy. And that's always a tough conversation to have. And those are tough injuries to see, but it's unfortunately just part of it. But, the irony is it's not always predictable. And so when you hear that, like, people will say, like, well, my cousin tore his ACL and he was back playing football in 6 or 9 months, and AP tore his and had an MVP season the next year. Those can happen. But on the flip side, there is the other end of the spectrum where people have, quote, just an ACL and all of a sudden they just never get back. And it's just because of those associated injuries. So, long story short, not all knee injuries are created the same. And that's just the truth of it.
Going back to baseball with the Twins, Ryan Jeffers, catcher, he had surgery to remove a fractured left hamate bone. And I know we've talked about that bone quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a normal procedure to remove it? I don't know if I've actually seen the word remove with
Yep.
that type of surgery.
Yeah, that's basically what we always do. Yeah, so the hamate is one of the 8 bones that basically join your wrist. We call them the carpal bones. And so the hamate has a little process that sticks off of it called the hook of the hamate. So it's this little, looks kind of like a comma sign. And coming off of that is the transverse carpal ligament. So that's basically what creates your carpal tunnel. So when we do carpal tunnel surgery, we actually just make a little cut and cut through that ligament. Obviously, that's a different procedure. But really, that's the only function of the hamate. The hook of the hamate. So when the fractures occur, they are universally in the hook of the hamate. So it breaks off. And instead of going in there and trying to reconstruct it with screws and stuff, you just cut it out. Why? Well, because that ligament doesn't really have to be there. And so you can just take it out, and then people bounce back for a while. You have to wait for the incision to heal. Certainly the area is tender, so it'll affect your grip for a while, but recovery is pretty predictable. So, I mean, no one certainly wants to have that problem, and it's no fun to have surgery in the palm of your hand, but people tend to bounce back really well. And that is the kind of the general treatment of it, is to just excise the hook of the hamate.
Interesting. Staying with baseball, going back to the Brewers here for a sec. So Quinn Priester, who we talked about a little bit earlier in the season, he's got TOS, the thoracic outlet syndrome, and he's been trying to rehab for the last month and a half, but he's having some major control issues. Do you think that TOS, and he didn't have surgery, I don't believe. I think it was more of a just kind of rehab and such. Could that be a kind of the reason why maybe he's having a lot of control issues and it's just not quite clicking? Because this was a guy who won double-digit games last year for the Brewers, but it seems like he's not back to his normal self yet.
Yeah, so thoracic outlet syndrome is a tricky condition. So I see it in my patients in the clinic. There's 2 varieties. There's neurogenic, meaning the nerves, and there's vascular, so it's compression of the arteries or veins. And so basically the idea is as either the nerves or the blood vessels leave, kind of your neck and go down the arm, they can get pinched somewhere along the way. And so there's multiple different causes for it. If they're just rehabbing it, it probably is either tight or accessory, what we call interscalene muscles. So they're a set of muscles that run along the side of your neck that kind of run down to your ribs and kind of connect your neck to your ribs. And the vessels and the nerves go through those. You can also have accessory cervical ribs. So basically you normally have ribs coming off only your thoracic spine. You also have them coming off your cervical spine, which is, it's not normal. It's not necessarily bad, but if they are there, they can cause this type of compression. Those don't always respond to conservative care. Sometimes they have to have a surgery where they go and excise that piece of bone, which is kind of crazy. But long story short, it's not an easy problem to fix. And so some people are able to rehab through it and get it to improve, some aren't. And the challenge is how it presents is generally repetitive, vigorous activity, especially with the arm out and away from the body, which obviously the pitching motion does. That's what triggers it. So people will get basically numbness, pain, weakness, all that stuff. And that's not a great recipe for a throwing arm, right? So you have an arm that you're using, and the more you use it, the weaker, or sometimes it's numbness, all those things can happen. So yeah, if they're not able to get that, in a better spot, he's probably gonna have to have a procedure either to release some of those muscles, excise the cervical rib, or whatever it may be that's causing that compression. But I would say on the predictability scale, that's not high. So, there's surgeries we do that are wow, this is going to be a home run. And that one, I'm not saying it's a crapshoot, but it's not an ideal one. So hopefully you can avoid it, but it sounds like that's not progressing the way they want. And that's unfortunately a relatively common presentation for that problem.
Man, darn. So, hey, before I let you go, I know it's not quite your area, but kind of a weird and sad story about Kyle Busch yesterday.
Yeah.
Hearing about that. And I don't know. I know there's weird stuff saying, well, he had a head cold, sinus infection and such. We'll find out more probably, but still a really scary story.
Yeah, so I was trying to just on my own just kind of dig into that last night, and they really haven't released much information. The 2 pieces of information we have is he was sick last week at his race, and he actually was during the race. He asked for a doctor to meet him in the pit crew after his race, so clearly something was brewing then. And then he was hospitalized for a quote. It was, I think they were saying it was like a sinus upper respiratory issue. Really, in my mind, it's probably going to be one of 2 things in all likelihood. One would be the infection was much more serious than we thought, and he rapidly went into sepsis. And so even in young, healthy people, sepsis basically is where you get an overwhelming infection. And it's really your body's response to the bacteria, and to a little bit, depending on what kind of the bug, the bacteria just creates a massive drop in your blood pressure. Now, usually, if you're in a hospital, they can address it. So they put you on medications that can bring your blood pressure back up. They'll intubate you. And so if he was in a hospital, I mean, that is less likely, but it can happen. The other thing is like something like a DIC, disseminated intrahepatic coagulopathy, or I can't remember the exact term, but DIC is what it's called. And you basically it's usually, again, related to a rapid infection, and your ability to clot is impaired. And so you'll basically, you just get end organ failure, bleeding, uncontrolled bleeding, and it's a rare occurrence, but it certainly can happen to young, healthy people. So that DIC, I bet it's going to be one of those two things. They have not released that information yet. I mean, certainly other weird things like a clot, like he had an illness, and sometimes those illnesses can create clots and go to his lung, something like that. But an otherwise young, healthy guy, yeah, this is rare. Thankfully, I mean, it's obviously a travesty, but it'll be interesting to see if they release that information. But I'd put my money on sepsis or DIC as this cause of death in that. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the human body is amazingly resilient, but sometimes you get caught in this downward spiral where you just start having failure of organ systems, and then it's just not able to be revived. And, as an orthopedic surgeon, I don't deal with it directly, thank goodness. But, when I was in training, we worked in the ICU, and you sometimes see these young, healthy people come in and they just decompensate. And it's like, man, it's amazing what the body can do, but when it gets pushed to that end, sometimes it just can't bounce back, and it's a very sad situation.
Yeah, it is, man. Well, we appreciate your insight on that, Austin, and appreciate the time as always, buddy. And have a good Memorial Day weekend with the family if you're going to be doing anything and such. And we'll catch up with you next week, sir.
Yep, you as well. You guys take care.
You too. There you go. There's Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Fantastic stuff with Dr. Crow again. Let's take a quick break, and we'll get Brandon Bergen here after these few words. Dings, dents, or something more serious, don't stress about it. Just head to our good friends at Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle getting back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. Again, a big thanks to Dr. Crow for joining us and giving us some fantastic insight on not only the injuries, but the Kyle Busch thing, which is, again, really, really scary to think about. And Brandon's joining us here. And Brandon, I know you're a little bit more into NASCAR than I am. But, Kyle Busch, let me see if I can kind of sum it up and see if this is early on in his career, kind of, I don't know if bad boy is the right term, but, not afraid to say or speak his mind and such. But kind of calmed down, it seemed like a little bit. I don't know if that
a
again.
A little bit. I think, part of that comes with age. Part of that came with, becoming a father.
Yeah.
And just, getting more mature. But, he was still very much the kind of guy that, if something sucked, he'd tell you it sucked.
Yeah.
Which is, unfortunately, is becoming kind of rarer and rarer in the sport, where he was someone that had kind of the big personality, but backed it up by being,
he was a good driver though too,
he's a
right?
great driver. Yeah. Bo Jackson once said that if he could choose what it said on his tombstone, it would say, "Here lies a ball player." And if you're having the same conversation about Kyle Busch, I think you could say, "Here lies a racer."
I never heard that Bo Jackson quote before. That is a fantastic quote.
And
wow,
to me, that kind of fits with Kyle Busch, where he was like, you could put Kyle Busch in one of those like electric Fisher Price cars that little kids drive, and he would try to find a way to drive it as fast as he could. Like just an absolute, just a racer. Like, the most wins between the top 3 NASCAR touring series of anyone ever.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
234, I believe, is the number. Won a couple Cup Series championships. Like, just someone who, from a young age was a prodigy. His brother came in to the Cup Series. Yeah, Kurt, who was my favorite driver. And it was funny because he came in, he won a championship relatively early, and he, both of them had that, kind of, bombastic, abrasive personality that, definitely rubbed people the wrong way, but is interesting because as Kurt won a championship in 2004 and kind of emerged as this young star, the discussion was kind of always, Kurt's good, but wait till Kyle gets here. Like, as good as Kurt is, like, his younger brother's even better, and that was the case. Like, he had some kind of early ups and downs, raced for Hendrick. He drove for some of the, iconic teams of the sport. Hendrick Motorsports really hit his stride with Joe Gibbs, driving the number 18 car. Like, that's, I think, probably what a lot of people are kind of synonymous when you think of, Kyle Busch and
I think of the M&Ms.
Yeah, the yellow M&Ms car.
Yeah.
Like, but did pretty much everything you could do in the sport. Like, a 2-time champion. Like, just, it's such a sad thing, not just for the sport itself, but then you think that now you have a wife and you have 2 children that don't have their dad. Like, that's, that's
the
tragic.
Immediate of it, like,
it was one of those things where he raced last weekend.
Yeah.
And then, I remember, just seeing yesterday, kind of like, oh, he's going to the hospital. He's going to miss the race this week. Okay. And, last night, just kind of looking at my phone before I was at the Chahai Menominee baseball game, just looking at my phone before the start, and then you kind of, I think it was just seeing like the tweet from NASCAR, and you're kind of like a lot of things, you're like, is this real?
Yeah.
You kind of look and you make sure, okay, is this, and it's just, it's tragic.
Yeah. Like when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, that's not real.
Right.
And I didn't even know the stuff beforehand, like the head cold or sign or whatever, he was kind of, and then you kind of dig into more because I think you just naturally like, okay, what happened? So you start Googling and looking
just
up.
Right now, there's just not much that's come out,
and rightfully so.
Right. I mean, but it's just it's just sad. I mean, that's just, when it's a sport has lost kind of someone that was, I think still, even if you talk to people that didn't necessarily know a lot about NASCAR, Kyle Busch still might be one of the people they've heard of.
Yeah.
Because he was someone. I mean, he was someone that was around at its peak. That was right when he was kind of coming of age, and but he was just someone that people knew.
Mm-hmm.
It was because he had been doing it for so long. I mean, he was 41, I believe. So
41.
Same age, our age.
Yeah.
And it, his entire adult life was in the spotlight because, he was there, in part, his obviously with his brother being there, he was kind of on the radar, but at the age of 18, he's already racing full time. It's just sad.
It is. Yeah. So I was trying to to put it, and this might not be a fair question to kind of throw it out there, but for maybe some people kind of like myself that's not huge NASCAR fans, what would be a comp in another sports? To a guy who's won 2 championships and, a personality to boot with it.
Who is, and I've got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
And and this just popped off the top of my head, but I'm very curious to get your opinion on it. Someone who incredibly polarizing. Nobody.
I think I know where you're going.
Nobody ever doubted the talent. Someone who was looked at as being kind of one of the best raw competitors in their sport. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were going.
Or someone who kind of had that, and obviously kind of maybe the way people feel about Aaron Rodgers for one reason kind of came out maybe a little bit later, and that's different from Kyle Busch, but that was kind of as far as just that raw talent of, okay, this guy is unquestionably one of the best that's ever done it. Look, he doesn't have 7 championships like a Dale Earnhardt or a Jimmy Johnson or whatever, but still, when people talk about it, it's oh no, he was, he's won championships, and he's one of the best that's done it. Even if he's not, number one, people just know that, okay, when it came to doing the thing, we can say that he was one of the best. Where that lands, who knows? But that just off the top of my head, that's kind of the first example I think of.
Okay, that's why. Now I'm glad I asked you because I never would have had an Aaron Rodgers comp to that. So interesting. Josh had texted in, or Josh said, I never really was a huge Kyle Busch fan, but this totally breaks my heart, and he was a fierce competitor. He said LeBron on there. Another John texted in, Kyle Busch is probably the biggest loss for NASCAR since Dale Earnhardt Sr.
I would agree with that, just because I think he was just so intertwined with so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And it said the type of person, or the type of competitor I really wish the sport had more of, where, again, he was that guy where for the vast majority of people, either you loved him or you hated him.
Mm-hmm.
But and I
is he one of those, when we say a player, you hate to play against him, but when they're on your team, you love the guy?
Yeah.
Or person?
Yeah. And it was I want to say it was Dale Earnhardt who said it, but something along the lines of obviously, kind of the response he would get at times. He goes, well, they don't make noise for losers.
Yeah.
Or basically, if they're one way or the other, if they're making noise for it, obviously you're happy. You're doing in some way you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right. Well, good stuff. Hey, keep sending those if you got kind of a comp and such. So, our mutual friend Dick, a big NASCAR. Was he? Do you know if he was I don't believe. Because he was Matt Kenseth, right?
Yeah, the Wisconsin. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. I was just kind of curious. You would know more about it than I would.
Yes. But.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break here and kind of get back on track because we're a little bit behind here. But we'll talk some more Brewers, Dodgers, getting set for this series coming up after these few words. every summer Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m., obviously with weather permitting. Bring your camera, take in the view at VFW Post 305, where you can watch their resident Raptors hunt and fish. That'd be fun to do that too, right? Grab a drink and enjoy some great live music performed by some talented local musicians. They'll be featuring food and drink specials, and of course, the four-legged friends are always welcome. So that's going to be every summer Saturday, 3 to 6 p.m., VFW Post 305, located 1300 Star Avenue. And with Father's Day now officially less than a month away, if you're wondering where to take Dad for a little maybe breakfast and that, they've got their special Father's Day buffet Sunday, June 21st, 7 a.m. to noon. And, that menu with eggs, sausage, bacon, biscuits and gravy, French toast, pancakes, corned beef hash, country fried steak and gravy. That sounds amazing right now. So even if you're not taking Dad out, just maybe go over there and take advantage of that too. So we got to give a shout out quick to Ty, our good friend Ty from Slab Factory, with that Tom Brady card that he had. The auction completed last night. Over $300,000 it went for that card. So congrats to Ty for pulling that card. And then, it ended $324,000, the final number on auction. So in case anybody was kind of curious where it went. So Mark says he's en route to Indy for that little 500-mile race down there on Sunday. Who you picking? I got Stingray Rob. You want to wait till we get to picks, or do you?
We'll get to picks.
Okay.
Is he going to make it there in time for the Weenie 500?
Are you, Mark? What's that?
Are you not familiar with that? That's where they raced. That's like last year they raced the.
Is it the Oscar Mayer?
Yeah, the Wienermobiles.
Okay.
Around the track.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay. When is that?
I believe that's today because today's carb day. They always do it like on the last practice before they. Okay. And apparently, it was just ended up being just kind of such a big deal last year that they had to bring it back.
All right.
So we're gonna have to make picks for that too.
Why not?
Can Slaw Dog repeat?
I'm so glad you're our analyst for this right now.
Hey, after this week, I definitely don't think many people are going to be picking Chicago Dog. So,
oh, dude, I am so glad you brought that up. We're going to have some fun with that one. Hey, open house party TGIF, right? So, we do have to take one more break for the top of the hour, but we could talk some Brewers. So, Brewers sweeping the Cubs, and I know we've had some Cubs fans kind of poo-pooing on the whole deal. But, I mean, come on. Yeah, I know it's May, but still, it's baseball. It's 162 games. You get excited when you beat division rivals, right? Especially when you sweep them at home. What would you say to some Cubs fans? You, Mr. Brewers hoodie wearing dude.
I mean, it was a fun week. I mean,
oh, stop! Come on, I'm giving you an opportunity to call them out.
I'm not gonna call them out. Look,
do a little trash talk.
Look,
come on.
I'm excited because the wins in May count as the same as the wins in September. Last year, the Cubs won the series. I believe the regular season series. I believe it was 7-6.
Yeah.
So the Brewers are already halfway to matching their wins against the Cubs that they were last year. We know that the tiebreaker could potentially come to play. We'll see. It's a long way to go off, but I think the biggest thing is, in some ways, it did kind of feel like a bit of a Murphy's Law series for the Cubs.
Yeah.
But you know,
Pete Crow Armstrong's overrated.
Well, he's had a rough week.
I think that White Sox fan really got to him.
He's had a rough week, yeah. But
probably because I ran out of some of his seeds. We've been having those for our baseball team.
He's got seeds?
It's the Smack flavor. The Smack has a Pete Crow Armstrong flavor. It's deep dish pizza. Actually pretty good.
Interesting.
But we ran out, and then coincides with that. So I've been going with the hot honey one.
He gets his power from the seeds.
Yeah.
Or from you guys using his seeds. But, yeah, I mean, it's just
completely off track.
I know. That's fine. But, yeah, like you said, it's just one of those things where, I'm not here to declare anything at all.
How dare you not put that L flag and declare it? Come on.
What?
The lost flag.
The
W.
Okay. I'm like, it took me a second to figure out the
Trevor McGill.
I know the totality of what you were saying, but I don't know. But the Green Bay sucks chant isn't exactly too successful right now.
No, it's not.
No, and I was joking with some friends of mine where I'm like, look, obviously I'm not a Packers fan. I go, But my thing is, like, if I was there and I heard that, I would try to get an Indiana Bears chant going.
Awesome.
Just like
maybe when the Cubs come to AmFam, we can get that going.
there we go. I don't know. I'm still not too inclined to want to go to very many Cubs games at American Family Field. It just always seems like there's.
But you've been to one at Wrigley, so
I have, and I've been to them, in Milwaukee as well. But I don't know. There's just always like a different vibe there, and it's just I don't know. Everyone's just always more on edge, and it kind of I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very similar to when I've gone to Packers Bears games at Lambeau.
Right. And it's just it's general unless it's a playoff game, obviously that's different. But I don't know. That's just not like I don't like the vibe for a regular season game of just people feeling like they're on the edge of fighting.
Yeah.
Like I don't need that for like a game in July.
Yeah.
Like so.
But kind of going back to that series before we get to some really with the Dodgers and such, I mean, Mizorowski, Kyle Harrison, dude, with those two guys, what they have been show. Is it fair to say that for me, I thought, okay, Mizorowski's going to be good this year, but he's exceeding these expectations so far?
Yeah. I mean, he has blown past the expectations I had where it really seems like he's matured from last year. And you can kind of see that down the stretch too, but almost being able to pick his spots of being emotional a little bit more. Where, last year it was, especially it seemed like in that Cubs series there was kind of back and forth between the Brewers Cubs fans of the emotion of Mizorowski versus Peaker Armstrong, and it's just kind of like okay, my feeling was just like, look, they're two young guys, I have no problem with it either way, but it does seem like he has kind of been able to just maybe wrap things up, a little bit tighter as far as throwing strikes and stuff like that. Certainly better than I thought. That was always kind of the book on him is like, can he consistently throw strikes? And he's been very good at it here where now it's become less of like in a start, okay, is he going to have it versus, okay, there might be an inning where maybe it kind of gets away from him a little bit, but I don't see how you can look at him right now, not be impressed and think, hey, he has exceeded what anyone has possibly expected.
He's literally maybe an inch or two away from being 4-0 the month of May. That one against the Padres, if it was just a little bit lower, Bryce Strang was a little bit taller to catch that one-line drive, it could have been 4-0. And
right, and that's not his fault.
It's not his fault, but he's 3-0. He hasn't allowed a single run this whole month.
He hasn't allowed an extra base hit.
Yeah, not an extra base hit either. So and then you go to Kyle Harrison, which, it's the question I see people's like, how do you follow up, Jacob Mizorowski, Kyle Harrison? Watch me.
Right.
He's got a sub-2 ERA now too. So it's like, man, those two guys.
And he did it in the Cubs game. He did it essentially on 2 pitches.
Yeah.
Just throwing fastballs up and slurves down. That's one where, he had the prospect pedigree, former top 100 prospect, for whatever reason, it didn't click with the Giants fully. It didn't click with the Red Sox, but the Brewers saw something. And honestly, for him, it's even happened a little bit quicker than I thought. Where, obviously they saw some things, and now suddenly you've got this guy who is, pitching at such a high level. And the crazy thing is, if you look at what Freddie Peralta's doing with the Mets, and he's having a good year. He's having a year he had very often with the Brewers, where he's good, but he's a guy that's going to go 5, maybe 5 2/3, 6. He's not going beyond 6 innings very often.
Right.
And you look at what he's doing, and if he was still on the Brewers, at least from production wise, he would be their 3rd best pitcher, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then you factor in everything else. Brandon Sproat. It just feels like he's kind of on the verge.
He's like that 4-inning guy.
Yeah, but you're just trying to get that one more out of him.
Yep.
He was running out of gas, but anyone that watched him pitch, you could see it.
Oh, those first 4 innings against the Cubs, yeah.
You see why. Okay, this team really likes this guy. Okay, you see it.
Yep.
And you look at this young rotation, and you just think, well, look how much, look what they're getting out of all these guys who, were not on the opening day roster last year.
Right.
And are still, pretty much all of them are in their mid-20s. I think Robert Gasser's 27, so he's a little older, but still. All of these guys who still are, relatively young in their careers.
Yeah. And, you mentioned, you look at the staff that's got the third best starting ERA in Major League Baseball, and no Freddie Peralta. The guy, Quinn Priester, hasn't even pitched,
Right.
with
Someone
this
who
team. Yeah.
I think people were probably, was probably the guy that maybe had the most, just, I'll say trust, but like,
I thought he was going to pitch the most innings.
The most experience coming back
Mm-hmm.
because, of what he did last year, and Brandon Woodruff, there was just always kind of the question health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you got to figure they've got none on Quentin Priester so far. Brandon Woodruff has had some success when he's in there, but obviously he's working through some stuff injury-wise. Like you said, they're third in ERA.
Yeah. And then the unique bullpen when you have like a Chad Patrick that could come in this past weekend, and
that's such a dynamic thing.
And Shane Drone too.
Right, I like that, and ultimately I'm really hoping that they can kind of keep Chad Patrick in the bullpen because that is such a weapon when you have two guys who are capable of just eating 2, 3, 4 innings.
Yeah.
And just what it can do to reset your bullpen.
I like what Pat Murphy kind of compared it to, like A-ball, where you have a tandem.
Yeah.
With the younger guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's never kind of thought of it that way.
And you think of what those guys being able to do in that way, how it's kind of set up the bullpen, even for the Cup Series, and they haven't necessarily had to go to those guys a lot, but now with the off day leading into the Dodger Series, now that sets up the Dodger Series where, they don't have their top couple starters going. Where hey, you can go to Abner Uribe a couple times if you need to. You can go to Aaron Ashby a couple times if you need to because the workload isn't significant.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got to take a quick break as we approach halftime here. By the way, Mark says he's not making the weenie race, so sorry to disappoint you. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. Be right back after these few words. Maybe you're looking to fire up the grills this Memorial Day weekend. If that's the case, head on over to our good friends at Mike's Star Market, because when it comes to quality meat in Eau Claire, there's one name that locals trust. That's Mike's Star Market. From hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef, to homemade brats and specialty items, everything is prepared with care and packed with flavor. Planning a cookout or filling the freezer, or just looking for something better for dinner tonight, Mike's Star Market has you covered. Stop on in today and taste the difference. People's Choice champs. Mike's Star Market from Barbecue Fest last week. So it smelled like heaven over there, Brandon. It smelled like heaven with all the smokers. Couldn't ask for a better day weather-wise. Oh, I actually got a little sunburned. Yeah.
You got burned at Barbecue Fest.
Burned at Barbecue Fest. So.
Did you have burned ends?
No.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. I had some really good ribs. Now I'm just getting hungry. But all right, coming up next hour, let's do a little cream of the crop. We'll do Pump the Brakes Full Throttle and some local sports roundup. I know we got some of the brackets for baseball that are out, not Division I yet.
Right, and we got the brackets for softball. Actually, softball postseason started last night.
That's right.
Game, so
we'll go through some of that for our local sports roundup. I'm assuming the D1 baseball probably in the next couple days after this
next
weekend
few days,
or so?
Yeah, maybe early next week sometime.
Is it just because there's more teams to go through?
There is, yeah, and technically because baseball playoffs technically start next week for D2 through 4.
Okay.
Like quarterfinal round games, but I think D1 may not start until like the week after that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll probably see it middle of next week. So
okay. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we got to give it a shout out again to our friend Ty from Slab Factory, because we had Ty on Wednesday. Every couple of weeks we have Ty on Wednesday to kind of talk about the hobby and such. And he obviously made some big news in the sports card world, getting that Tom Brady card, and was up on auction. And the auction ended yesterday, and ended up $324,000. And Ty is apparently crediting the Dan Kasper Show, because he says, I like to think the Dan Kasper Show is my good luck charm. So
there we go.
We're your good luck charm, peeps. So you need a little luck. I don't know how we can help you, but there you go. Maybe one of these days, for as much as you're on, maybe you'll have some luck one of these days.
I don't know.
Maybe when we golf next week, because Brandon and I are actually going to go golfing next week. How about that?
Apparently.
Wow. Yeah. That's more rare than probably pulling a one-of-one Tom Brady card. How about that? So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off. We're approaching halftime. We got some news updates, and we'll kick it off with a little cream of the crop. Got a few different ones potentially in the running here. But if you want to make your picks, you can. Hit us up with a text or a comment on the video stream. We'll be right back after these news updates. Halftime is over with, and we are on to the third quarter on this Friday morning before Memorial Day weekend. A big thank you to all of you who have served, are continuing to serve, and those who are no longer with us that have also served. Thank you as we remember that on this Memorial Day weekend. And we're going to do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center here in just a skosh. We'll do AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle a little bit before that, so whatever before a skosh is. And then whatever before that is Cream of the Crop, which is now. Let's do a little Cream of the Crop. Brandon, what you got?
Well,
I got to turn on your right mic. I don't know why I keep going to 4 for you. You're on 3.
am I allowed to talk now?
You are.
Okay, good. Well, I was prepared to come in here and present this prestigious award to Jake Bowers. However,
We could do multiple ones.
we
if
can do
want.
multiple ones. So Jake Bowers, who I don't have the numbers right now in front of me, but the on-base streak is up to like 20 games, hit streak about half of that. I mean, look, he is someone that if you've been listening to this show for a minute, you know earlier on in his Brewers tenure, I was not a fan of.
Right.
Yes. I just didn't see the number. I didn't see the rationale in keeping him around. The numbers weren't there, and you'd hear the team say, "Oh no, we think there's more in there." It's like, okay, well, this guy's getting a little older. Like, why stick with him?
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to this point now where he is a very important part of this team
Mm-hmm.
as a hitter, but also obviously playing defense, first base. Sprinkled him in a little bit more in left field, which to get that bat in the lineup, you can understand. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Jake Bowers, and then in light of yesterday's news, I also have to put Kyle Busch into this as well. I mean, we kind of discussed it a little bit last hour, but just a tremendous loss. Like just one of the, definitely just one of the kind of the flashpoints of the sport of NASCAR over the last 20 years, and just it's just there's no other way to say it. It's just a terrible loss.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to throw that under. I'm going to go with a couple of them. First off, my Cream of the Crop. We've mentioned him a couple times, but it's such a cool story, and it's life-changing. Ty from Slab Factory, Cream of the Crop with that. And then it is Memorial Day weekend. Cream of the Crop is all those who have served and
Yes.
continue to serve and such. So we've got some good Cream of the Crops.
We do.
Definitely out there.
Yeah.
So. All right. You ready? You want to do, should we do some Pump the Brakes Full Throttle
Yes.
first? Let's do
Yes.
some AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Jacob Mizrowski, right now, you take him over Paul Skeens. Coming in hot.
It's coming in hot. I'm still gonna pump the brakes on that. I know.
You're not a Brewers fan.
I know. But these guys are running 1A, 1B-ish, but just Paul, I think, Paul Skeens still just has a little bit more of a track record. I would still take Skeens, but it's honestly, it's closer than, maybe we thought it would be like a year ago.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. That's fair. I'd probably I'm tapping the brakes. I'm coming to a yield maybe a little bit.
You're covering the brakes. So you got your foot there.
Yes.
You got your foot there. Like you're ready in case like a squirrel jumps out. But
and maybe I'm that annoying driver on the highway where it's like the back lights are just kind of going on and on, like just doing that slow step there. But it's getting close though, isn't it?
yeah.
It's getting really, really close. So, but man, he's fun to watch. Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Kyle Harrison's between Kyle Harrison and Jacob Mizrowski, the Brewers have a top 5 duo at starting pitcher right now.
Right now, Full Throttle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and because the thing is, like, as much as some people may think this kind of came out of nowhere, these were two guys that were like celebrated prospects. So it's not like they're getting this is happening from some randos.
Right.
Like Kyle Harrison was a top 100 prospect. When he at one point, like, and it just maybe took the right organization to be able to unlock that. Like, I don't think what we're seeing right now is fluky. Now, whether that continues is another question. But this does give a pair of legitimate top of the rotation pitchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to say, full throttle. Full throttle on that. I definitely think you look at those two, and it's hard to argue with the numbers with what they're doing here. So, yeah, full throttle, baby. Full throttle. Let's go pump the brakes. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm choking up a little bit here. Pump the brakes. full throttle. Sweeping the Cubs was more important than winning this upcoming series against the Dodgers.
Full throttle. I mean, division games just matter more, especially with a team in the Cubs that you feel like is going to be there battling with you at the end.
Mm-hmm.
To do it right away at the start of the year, to do it at Wrigley, and to do it in the fashion they did it, all of those things, I would say, if the Brewers lost this series this weekend to the Dodgers, as long as they don't get swept, I mean, that would be a bummer. But like if they lost 2 or 3 to the Dodgers, I don't think that would do anything to kind of cast a shadow over what happened, earlier this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. I agree with you 100%. So it's division games. Those are the big ones. And here's the thing. We swept the Cubs last year. We don't want to sweep them again. Or the Dodgers last year. We don't want to. We don't want to sweep them. Let's just win a series.
LA.
Yeah. Let's just win a series maybe, and then we'll move on from there. Superstitious, little stitches. So, pump the brakes, full throttle. With their Game 2 win last night, the Knicks are off to the NBA Finals.
I'm going to say full throttle. I mean, it's been pretty impressive these first couple games.
Mm-hmm.
They've definitely carried over the momentum from the series with the Sixers.
Yep.
And you always kind of wonder, like when a team like the Cavs wins their series, in 7 games the way they did, like, okay, is there an immediate kind of carryover from their series? And right now the Knicks have just been better.
Yeah.
Like they have, that's one where it's trending being over sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I think I don't think they're going to sweep. I think the Cavs,
gentleman sweep.
Yeah, probably
maybe the Cavs get one at home.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to go there, and then it's going to become unbearable with the Knicks in the NBA Finals with Celebrity Row and that. But that might be a good. I'm going to hold that thought. Okay, podcast idea. I'll probably forget it in 5 minutes. So
okay,
but all right, pump the brakes, full throttle. Nope, scratch that. I was going to do a pick one, but I'm going to wait till the back end of this. So, pump the brakes, full throttle. You actually believe Aaron Rodgers is done after this year?
I do. I will say full throttle. Like I do think this is it. And it's not even like it's like, well, why do you believe that? It's like it's not even so much that Aaron Rodgers said it. It's just I look at circumstances,
and
it's just like, why would you play beyond this year?
Yeah,
like it's time. Like he wants to go one more year. That's fine. Reuniting with half that organization, having Green Bay connections now. Like that's fine. And we'll see what comes of that. But no, it's this is it.
Mm-hmm. I 100% full throttle. I think this is it. I think this is going to be it's going to be the end of his career. I think the fact that he has said stuff and put it out there, and it's been a little bit different. And that, like, I know he said a few years ago he doesn't want a farewell tour. Well, now saying it is kind of a farewell tour, but at the same time, I think you have to address it when you take this long.
Otherwise, it's just a question that's going to be asked. I think, you have to, if you just nip it in the bud right away and say, hey, look, this is the last year, then the next time he talks, it's not going to be like, well, what are you thinking? This is going to be, and there doesn't necessarily have to be a Derek Jeter farewell tour where every time he goes somewhere, he's getting something kind of a thing. And there's this big show of things.
Yep. I would agree. So I do think it's going to be his final year, and we'll see how it kind of plays out. But I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to it. Now, I don't know what would be a comp for you, because I did throw this question out earlier in the week to Packers fans. Knowing that it is Rodgers' final year, are you going to pay attention more to Steelers games and kind of just follow along, which I'm going to, sort of thing. I don't know what that comp would be for you. Even maybe baseball-wise?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And I'm not trying to knock your Viking. I'm trying to think,
I just don't know if off the top of my head I can think of a comparable.
Right. But I think it's natural just to kind of follow along and pay attention to it, right? I mean, that's so. But we got plenty of football predictions we'll get to.
When that time comes,
way down the road. So. Pump the brakes, full throttle with the NFL expanding their international slates. Do you think eventually we're going to get to 16 games, 16, 17 games, where it's almost every week we've got an international game in the NFL?
I'm going to say pump the brakes, but I do think that the NFL would want to do that. I just think at some point the logistics of that are very difficult. Like, I mean, the NFL has, without, apologizing, has said, like, hey, we want to grow, we want to grow the, they say they want to grow the game, but let's be real. They want money.
Mm-hmm.
They want money, and they're getting money by going to these different places. And yeah, it can grow the game, but also like they're doing what they can to maximize their earning possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point though, you kind of exceed the carrying capacity a little bit, where it's like you can only do so much, and like you can't just have a game every week. This week we have a game in China, next week we have a game in India, that kind of stuff. Like the human body can't do that.
Right.
Like, and as much as the NFL wants to say they care about player safety, that's something I still very much question with some of the things they do. But I could see them wanting to push that envelope. I just think that's going to be difficult to do.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to push for even having an international team somehow. I don't know if it'll be in our lifetime or in the next 10, 15 years or so. There's got to be, I would think the owners at some point are going to be some pushback.
Right.
But what if there is a big overseas type of owner that comes in? Because if you're going to expand, you got to do two. You can't do one.
Right.
You got to do two teams. Make it even. Right. We don't want that odd number.
No.
Floated out there.
But even so, like they're at 32. They're at like the best number. They're at the
Right.
the divisible number.
And I don't see a team moving.
Right.
It's not the Jaguars anymore. That was always kind of the joke that would
Right.
be the team to do it. So, yeah, I don't. It's not going to be the Bears for all their. Boy.
Kevin Warren has finally found a place to get his everything he was looking for in the stadium, and it's London.
I did see somebody say this. I don't buy this. Somebody said on social media, if the Bears move to Indiana, then they can't talk about 85 anymore because it's an OKC Thunder. And I don't know if I buy that.
I wouldn't agree with that.
That's different.
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
I mean, to me, somebody had asked me this. To me, if they move to Indiana, I look at it from the whole, well, the Jets and Giants aren't in New York.
They're in New Jersey. I just think it would be fun to make fun of Bears fans about.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the flip side, if the Packers moved out of Green Bay, even if it was to Milwaukee, I would not like that because I think it's just I've attached Green Bay to the Packers. Don't get technical on me that Ashwaubenon with the address, okay? Now we're getting nitpicky here.
Schwabenon Packers.
But you know what I mean? Like, so I get it from I'd be curious to hear from a Bears fan if it moves to India. Does it take away from, because it is a very historic franchise.
Right.
Does it take away at all? Because I think if Green Bay moved down an hour to Milwaukee, I think it takes a hit on the legacy.
Right. And I think that a lot of Bears fans probably, when you think of Chicago Bears, you think of, Chicago blue collar, like, hey, that's our that's our town, that's our team kind of a thing. And yeah, like when then suddenly if you're playing in Hammond, Indiana, like, does that change things a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Are we going to the draft in 2028?
Full throttle.
We got to go to your area now after you went to my area in Green Bay.
We're gonna have to find a comparable bowling alley.
Hey, I know one in River Falls.
Yeah, I know a bar in Minneapolis that serves hams on tap. So we got that going for us.
I don't think it's quite hit that. I'm like because I think you and I both thought that this might have been it for Green Bay.
And I thought Minneapolis would get it. I just thought it might take a little more time.
Yeah, this is quick.
I
don't know if I'm ready though, dude.
But we're gonna have. Because I've already had some other friends reaching out too, but I'm like, no, I want it, and yeah,
we got a tradition that we kind of have to add, don't we?
We're gonna have to figure some things out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we will though.
Oh yeah,
we'll get her done. But it's definitely I did not expect this.
No, not this quick.
Not this quick.
It's gonna be 2 years apart.
I still feel like we're recovering from Green Bay.
Or 3 years apart. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25 and then 28. I mean, we had 10 years from Chicago to Green
Right.
Bay. So
Oh my gosh, it's Dan Kasper from the Dan Kasper Show on Sports Talk.
Stop.
If
You're not doing that.
If I had a nickel for every time I
You'd have
referred
about
to you
20
as Dan Kasper from the Dan Kasper Show on Sports Talk 105.1, 790 AM that night, I would be eating nickel soup.
Oh. All right, that is your AGM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. What?
What?
Oh, you're just giving me a look like I forgot something.
That's just how I normally look.
Okay. Just making sure. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back after these few words. Summer is almost here, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love. At Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power, comfort, reliability? They've got it all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. Don't forget, speaking of Toyson Ford, the Eau Claire Express season begins on Monday. They're going to be taking on the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. But hard. I don't know. It's still kind of hard to believe for me, Brandon, that we got Express baseball starting up here in a couple days already. So
yeah.
But we've got Tailgate Thursdays, something new that we're going to be doing with the program. So first one's going to be on June 11th. About 5:30, we'll tailgate little tailgate before that Express game. You can see the Thursdays by going to our website, sportstalk1051.com, and clicking on the Tailgate Thursdays icon there. And then on Tuesday, it is Midwest Family Broadcasting Night, and going to be giving away some of those magnets. So, all right, ready to do it? Let's do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Which bracket do you got? It looks like a softball bracket you got up first.
Sure,
Division
yeah.
One.
We've got the full pairings now for the softball postseason, which actually started last night. So with some regional quarterfinal action, I believe, in Divisions 2 through 5.
Okay.
So we can start in Division 1, though, where they get underway next week because they go right into the regional semis. Because the sections are a little bit bigger. So
Gotcha.
But most notably in Division 1, Chippewa Falls, a 2 seed. They got a bye to the regional finals, which is next Thursday, and they'll be taking on the winner of New Richmond and Eau Claire North. Some other notable D1 matchups. You go Eau Claire Memorial is the 11 seed, making the trip down Alaska. You've got Hudson as the 4 seed. They'll be hosting number 13 Superior. Menominee, the 8 seed. They'll be taking on River Falls. That's an 8-9 matchup. The winner there will go to face Toma, which is the top seed there. So that sectional final, all sectional finals are set for June 4th, which is Thursday, 2 weeks from yesterday, and that'll be actually hosted by Chippewa Falls at Casper Park. So Division 2, Baldwin Woodville, 1 seed. In that section, in this section, not a big surprise there. They're always strong.
Right.
Altoona, excuse me. Ugh.
All-tuna.
I don't know why I called it Altoona.
Because we're all tuna.
Yeah. We're all Bill Parcells.
All big tuna.
Altoona, the 4 seed, they'll be hosting Lacrosse Logan. Otherwise, St. Croix Central won one of the first-round games. They beat Rice Lake last night, so they'll be taking on Somerset, who is the 2 seed. Your Medford Raiders, they're a 1 seed as well. They'll be taking on Ashland.
Yep. I know Medford softball. I know they just a few days ago beat Fall Creek, I believe, too.
Yes,
So,
no, they're having a great season. So keeping our buddy Matt Fry plenty busy. So in Division 3, this is one that's I'll be keeping a close eye on. You got Stanley Boyd, they're a 1 seed. They'll be taking on Neilsville Grand after they scored the walk-off win last night over Elk Mound. Otherwise, in that section, you got Arcadia as the 2 seed. They'll be taking on Fall Creek after they knocked off Loyal Greenwood last night. Prescott, Tomahawk, that's your 3-6 matchup. Bloomer is the 4 seed. They'll be taking on Durand, Arkansas. Winner of that matchup, likely meeting Stanley Boyd in the regional final. And the interesting thing about that half of the sectional is you got 3 state-ranked teams, the top 3 seeds. Stanley Boyd, Arcadia, and Prescott all ranked highly in the softball coaches Max Prep state poll. So that's kind of you got a pretty loaded or half section there. Plus you got a Bloomer team who's won a bunch of games this year, has picked up some big wins, including beating McDonald last week. So that's a powerful half of that section. You got up top, you got Spooner. They're the 1 seed up there. St. Croix Falls, number 2. Those are the top 2 teams in the Heart of North this year. So that sectional final is set for Cumberland. Division 4, you've got McDonald. They're the 1 seed. They'll be taking Regis after Regis picked up, I believe, their first win of the year, but they knocked off Cadott last night in the regional quarterfinals. So the Ramblers now, they'll advance. They'll be taking on McDonald. Augusta, who's had a fantastic year this year, and a team that's really faced a lot of high-caliber teams. They've played McDonald. They played Colfax. They've played Blair Taylor. They played a lot of the best teams you're going to see in this area. They're the 2 seed. They're, I believe, the large Dairyland champions. They'll be taking on Mondovi. Colfax, 3 seed. Conference co-champions in the Dun St. Croix with Boyceville, I believe. Okay. They'll be taking on Osseo Fairchild, Levistrom, Spring Valley, the 4-5. Up top, you got Grantsburg. They're the 1 seed. They're back in Division 4 the last few years. They've been in Division 3 battling, and they're, I believe, still undefeated. I mean, they're an absolute. I mean, that's one of those programs every year that when you get to this time of year in softball, they're a prime contender, and that's the case again as well with Boyceville, the aforementioned Bulldogs. They're the number 2 seed in that same half of the section. They'll be taking on Clear Lake. So, in that sectional final set for Grantsburg right now. Division 5, bottom half here we got Blair Taylor. They're the 1 seed. They'll be taking on Alma Center Lincoln. Thorpe, the defending sectional champions in that section, as a 4 seed. They'll be taking on Cochrane Fountain City. Gilman's the 2 seed. They got Elmwood Plum City. And the 2-7 matchup, and then Independence Gilman and Eau Claire Emmanuel, a couple Dairyland schools, excuse me. That's your 3-6 matchup there. And then up top you got Northwood Sullivan Springs. They're the 1 seed. That sectional final currently set for Blair Taylor, but I mean, a lot of really good teams in this area. Would not be surprised to see about a bunch of those teams I mentioned possibly making a run down to Goodman Diamond. So baseball, we're kind of getting to the end of the regular season here. We
just really quick on softball, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Does Gilman still have the same softball head coach?
Yeah,
as
Brent Phelps. Yeah,
okay.
Brent Phelps. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, longtime coach there.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious.
Yep, taking him to state a number of times. So yep, he's still leading the way there for the Pirates, who have had a really solid year. Said they're the 2 seed, so they got a chance to play some home games if they keep winning. So
I was just because between Gilman and Medford, their softball coaches I think have been there since when I was in high school or school. So yeah. A lot of continuity.
So baseball, we're getting to the end near the regular season. As far as regular season stuff goes, still got Hudson atop the Big Rivers Conference. Chippewa Falls is 1 game back in the loss column, but they're actually a game behind. Actually, they're 2 games behind because they'll be playing 3 conference games next week to finish up. They've got 2 with New Richmond. They've also got a game to finish up with River Falls that was suspended due to weather early in the year. So. Cardinals got a busy week coming up here, but I was there last night. They picked up their 20th win of the season, beating Menominee. Hudson and Chippewa Falls both state ranked. Both have at least 20 wins. Right now, you could be looking at those as maybe being your top 2 seeds when the Division I baseball pairings come out.
Okay.
With Hudson at 1, Chippewa at 2 would be my guess. Chippewa Falls picking up like a couple wins over like Stevens Point. Those are really important when it comes to the conversations that you have for those postseason pairings. But also tonight we're gonna figure out how the Western Clover Belt standings shake out. Fall Creek has already clinched at least a share of the conference title. They did so last night with their win over Bloomer. They're a half game up because Elk Mound has to finish up. They got Regis tonight. Elk Mound knocked off Regis 6-4 on Thursday, but they meet again tonight. Elk Mound wins. They share the conference title with Fall Creek. If they lose, it's all Fall Creeks. I believe that's the 3rd straight year that Fall Creek has clinched at least a share of the conference title, if I remember correctly. So obviously a tremendous run for the Crickets. A program that not that long ago actually was, had the co-op with. I believe it was Black River Falls. So they've made a great comeback, and then that transitions very well into some of the postseason brackets where in Division III, in the bottom, the southern half of that section, you got Fall Creek and Elk Mound. They're the 1 and the 2 seed. So. That with Fall Creek being the 1 and Elk Mound being the 2, a lot of local teams in the mix there. I mean, you got Mondovi as a 6 seed. They're going to be hosting Whitehall. Regis Cadott, that's your 7-10 matchup. McDonald earning a home playoff game. They'll get Osseo. Fairchild, the winner there, would earn the right to move on to play Fall Creek. You got Stanley Boys, a 12 seed, making the trip south to Melrose Medoro. The Owen Withee Thorpe Co-op. They'll be making the trip west to go play Prescott. And then up top there, you got St. Croix Falls and Boyceville as your 1 and your 2 seed as well. And that section is set. Division II, you've got Rhinelander. Bloomer is a 9 seed taking on Ashland. Whoever wins that game, they'll be going to make the trip to go try to find a hodag up in Rhinelander. So otherwise, Altoona, the 2 seed there, they have got a bye into the regional semifinals. Hayward or Ellsworth, whoever wins that opening round matchup, will be making the trip to Rail Country. So, and then Division IV. Around for this area around here, you've got Eau Claire Emmanuel. They're a 1 seed. They'll be taking on either Spring Valley or Augusta. Otherwise, you got Loyal as a 2 seed. Glenwood City is a 3. Gilman is a 4. They'll be hosting Bruce. So that's your 4-5 matchup there. And then up top, Shell Lake is your 1 seed. So, like I said, the Division I brackets will be coming out here probably next week. Sometimes that sectional is set for Casper Park and Chippewa Falls.
Okay.
So when that time comes, whoever the Final Four are there, you'll have a chance to see some really good Division I action close to home. So otherwise, we've started to have some of the girls soccer postseason brackets trickling out, but I mean those aren't fully out yet. Otherwise, we had track and field conference meets this week. Shout out to the Menominee girls track and field team picking up the team championship at Monday's Big Rivers meet at Eau Claire Memorial. New Richmond won the boys. So a lot of those Division I teams, they'll be at Menominee on Monday for regionals, and then sectionals, I believe they go to DC Everest, if I remember correctly. So in Western Cloverville on Tuesday, Bloomer sweeping both the boys and the girls. So the Blackhawks brought a couple of conference championships back to Bloomer, and they'll be in regional action. I believe they're at Altoona on Tuesday. Altoona hosts Division II-1, and then those teams go up to Rice Lake on Friday. Division III, a lot of the local teams will be at Colfax on Tuesday, and then they'll be going to Marathon on Friday. So, by this time, next week we'll know who's in sectionals for track and field, and we've got, just so many great athletes around here and teams that could be maybe making a run at a team championship depending on how things fall. But boys golf regular season pretty much finished up yesterday. You had the Big Rivers meet. There were Big Rivers Championships up at Turtleback. Earlier this week, Bloomer put a wrap on their third straight Cloverbelt Conference Championship. So as we move into the postseason now, I know a lot of the Division I teams will be heading to River Falls for regionals on Tuesday. Cadott hosts a Division III regional, and then Division II is going down to GET to Trimple Mountain.
Okay.
So, and then a week after that, you have sectionals, and then you got state down in Madison. So, we're there. We're at that point. Boys tennis, I believe, they've had the Big Rivers Conference meet this week. I believe you got subsectionals and sectionals coming up next week. So we are, the Memorial Day always falls. It can be interesting depending on the time of year it falls or in the schedule. But now we kind of got that extra week in there again, where sometimes you would have like Monday, Thursday track sectionals before Memorial Day, but the last couple of years it's been the week after. So you get a little bit more of a breathing room there. A lot of you can't really do anything on Friday because you have a lot of schools that are doing graduation today.
Oh yeah,
so you really can't plan that for something like that. But it's worked out well. So we're right there.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. Brandenburg with the local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Okay, two people have mentioned this, and one of them said that you would know it. I don't know who this is. Is it Danhausen?
Danhausen.
Okay, two people have mentioned that he cursed the Cavs, and somebody said Brandon knows who he is. So
Danhausen.
Is that a wrestler?
Yes.
Okay.
How do I describe Danhausen?
The fact that a couple people mentioned it now, I figured, I gotta say it now,
because he was on ESPN, and it's a very pro wrestler gimmick where like his gimmick is like, I don't know how to describe it besides like he is like an evil ghoul. He's very entertaining, and he was on ESPN, and I think he had talked about, because I believe he's actually from Detroit.
Okay. So
I think then he kind of joked, they made the joke about, that's kind of his thing. He will do. He will say like he will put quote unquote curses on people.
Okay.
So he put a curse on the Cavaliers.
Got it.
And now, so far, it's kind of hard to look at that first game and not say, well, maybe there's something to that. But yes.
All right. Well, okay. So
there we go.
I
was not walking in here today expecting to reference Danhausen on air, but here we are. But yes.
All right. Hey, we got to take a quick break, and we'll be back to regroup coming up after these few words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. At Triple Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is here with personalized care every single step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you do not have to sit on the sidelines. Triple Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, feel better, and live better. Hey, if you got nothing going on tonight, if maybe there is no graduations to go to or such, we've got going on at the Brewing Project tonight at 5 p.m. A little Hawaiian shindig event. The 715 Hawaiian shirt hullabaloo, however you want to. Hula.
Well, I would think hula because, I mean, come on, if we're doing a Hawaiian theme, you know.
Right, yeah. 5 p.m. till dark. Throw on your best or worst Hawaiian shirts and get ready for a night of drink specials, tiki torches, and full-on tropical vibes with grass skirts, sleighs all around. Torch Sisters will be there at dusk for a special fire dance. Come hungry because Rolling Smoke will be serving up pulled Hawaiian pulled pork, while Smokestream, El Ganco, and Sweet Roll Truck will be bringing plenty to chomp on. So let's go again tonight. The Brewing Project, downtown Eau Claire, 5 p.m. until dusk, till dark. So, Brewers getting set to take on the Dodgers. I want to go back to a little Jake Bauers chat here. I know you mentioned him a little bit, but something I was kind of throwing out there at the beginning of the week. Should Jake Bauers get more time in left field, depending on the pitching matchup, you know, if Andrew Vaughn's play at first, just to keep that battle, sacrifice a little defense to keep Jake Bauers in that lineup?
Yes.
Okay, that was quick.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's that simple. Just because, I mean, this is a team that we're always, I think, going to be wondering about the offense, and especially someone that does bring some power, which when you hit fewer home runs than everybody else in the league, you can always use a little bit more of them. Plus, I mean, the thing is, like, you know, if you're winning, you can always maneuver things around late defensively. Right. So, I would say yes.
Okay. Yeah, there's got to, and it's not, I mean, he's not a big liability, right? I mean, it's obviously there's going to be a difference between Perkins or somebody.
He's not going to be as good as a Perkins or Garrett Mitchell. But I think that's a trade-off you're willing to make in the search for more power and more offense.
Right. Yeah, I don't expect him to continue this trend. I mean, it'd be awesome if he finishes the season batting 300. And it kind of surprised me earlier in the week when I was looking at his numbers. He's already matched or like right there compared to his totals from last year.
Right.
I mean, that's how much of a run he's been on.
It's interesting when you look at his numbers because, like, I think this is like his 4th year in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Which, that's jumped up. But, like, he's just incrementally got better. Like, we always say development isn't linear. Like, people don't get X amount better every year. But you look at his numbers with the Brewers, and they kind of have. I mean, going back to his first year, he had 202, OPS of 693, so which is below average, especially for a first baseman. And then that was his last year. I take it back. It's only his 3rd year here. But his first year here or in Milwaukee, he hits one. He didn't even hit 200 yet. 199 on base of 300, like 662 OPS, like not great. Like, but then last year he hit 752. I mean, that's solidly above average. I mean, he only had 218 plate appearances, so it's not like he was playing a bunch. Like, he's already got 164 plate appearances this year, more doubles than last year, same amount of homers, more RBIs than last year. Like 291, 360 on base, slugging 500, 860 OPS. Like, those are very strong numbers. Like, and Andrew Vaughn is putting up solid numbers too. He's been solid. But he's going to play first base. I know he's played outfield in the past. Absolutely, he should, in no certain terms, play the outfield. And I think he would probably say that too.
Right.
But like Jake Bauers is a better potential option in the outfield, especially because you likely now most of your DH at bats are probably going to go to Christian Yelich. Like, he might play a little outfield, but like
I think you got to be cautious with the back now,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. I think they're going to. So you have to. Let's put it this way: if there's one spot in the lineup for them to try to maybe go with a bat first guy, this is it. Because we know there's a lot of other places where they don't, where they do prioritize defense. So yes.
Yeah.
Green flag,
Green
light,
flag,
thumbs up.
Because Chirio playing in center, I mean, we talk about improvements from a lot of these players. He has vastly improved his outfield play from his rookie year.
Right. Yeah.
And, Frelick and Wright. I mean, that's still.
Yeah, no, you can still cover a lot of ground there. It's not like Jake Bauers is slow. It's not like it's me out in left field. Like he can still catch what he's going to get to, and that's fine.
What does this say about? I know Garrett Mitchell just had a good play the other day and such, but I mean, with his limited opportunities, I mean, Blake Perkins is even coming in for him and such. I mean, is it just okay? He's not playing the greatest, so he's got to play the hot hand. Should there be a concern about Garrett Mitchell at this point?
I think at this point, just Garrett Mitchell's a useful player, but I'm not sure he's an everyday player like the way he's playing right now. There's things he does that helps the team. I think he's a major league player, but the strikeouts are always going to be the thing we keep an eye on. And the defense, and I don't have the metrics in front of me to kind of see like how they grade out, but it does seem like the defense hasn't been quite as good. And I think part of it too is it just seems like he's missed some balls he's gotten to, and that always sticks with you when you see a guy run a ball down, and it's a difficult play and they don't quite make it. You're always kind of like, oh man, you probably should have had that, even though he had to run a long way to get it, kind of a thing. It just seems like it's not quite clicking for him there.
Right. Yeah. And then I don't think they're going to send him down for like a Luis Lara, because if you're going to bring up Lara, that means he's got to play, which means then Bowers is going to be on the bench.
Luis Lara, tearing the cover off the ball at AAA and was a minor league Gold Glover last year. But yeah, you're right. Like Luis Lara only gets called up if there's a pathway for him to play every single day. You're not calling him up to have him get 4 at-bats a week and sit on the bench and be a defensive replacement. That's not going to be good for his development. He's only, I think, 21 still. So, like, you still want him to play everyday. Baseball is a game you play every day. That's how you develop. You don't kind of develop by, sitting in practice and, getting reps there like you do in other sports. You have to play every day.
Right. Yeah. It looks like, the Brewers are playing really well. I mean, I know it's end of May, but you look at the teams that they have beaten and quality opponents and such. Is it by no accident that we look at this and see, oh, all these guys returned, Chirio, Vaughn, Yelich, and did everything just maybe kind of settle down a little bit?
I think so. And look, that when you have those 3 guys back, suddenly, no disrespect to a guy like a Greg Jones, but like he's not someone you're having to lean on for, a couple starts a week. It's just, I think it also probably just settles everybody else down, because if you're a Bryce Trang, if you're a William Contreras, maybe you're not grinding as much as you had to, because you feel like, okay, I really need to be the producer here, because our offense just isn't at full strength right now. Whereas now it's a bit more of that relay mentality where it's like, look, just run your race, pass the baton to the next guy, let them do the same thing. And that's what this offense has been doing.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. I didn't realize we had to do one more. We're a little bit behind here. So we got to take one more break, and then we're going to wrap up the third quarter, the third hour. We'll get back to some more baseball talk as we preview this series with the Dodgers starting tonight. We may have to dabble into a little bit of the Cardinals one, too, because we won't be here on Monday. So a lot of baseball talk still coming your way. We'll be right back after these quick words. All right, just a few minutes left to the top of the hour. Don't forget, sign-up is open for the Casper Classic, and I can tell you right now, we are almost already, we're not even to June, sold out of the 10 a.m. So
My group has 8 of them. we have enhanced we have went from 2 groups of 2 groups of 3.
Mm-hmm. So I think we should just call the 10 a.m. tea time the Brandon Berg
the Belgian
flight.
Institute of Technology flight.
Yeah, the BIT flight.
Yeah, we've got one more. I got one more person I gotta get after because he's gonna be the last one. Because I wanted to do it a divisible number of 3, so that way we can be grouped together, and we've got that. So we've got some new people golfing this year. My mom's golfing this year.
Look at that.
She's gonna be out there.
She gonna sign autographs for everybody
She might.
that wants to. She's got to wear her Brandon's mom jersey when she's golf, so everybody knows who she is, though. Just throwing that out there. You have to Brandon's mom.
Yeah.
Gotta wear the jersey.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it is. And August 7th, so just go to sportstalk1051.com. You'll see the icon right there. Sign up, and we're in the single digits for that 10 a.m.
Yeah, we're getting down to it.
So still got plenty for the 1 p.m. and the Surveyor flight at 7:30. So we've got the Surveyor flights. It's kind of like when we name divisions and conferences. We'll have the Surveyor flight 7:30, the BIT flight at 10. We'll have to who's the usual? Oh, maybe the Carpet City flight because I think Jason always goes into the 1 p.m. Yeah, so
you get legends and leaders.
yeah, right. So, don't know what we'd call that 10 a.m. one though with your group. Not really. Well, kind of legends.
I would say more leaders. I mean, Jason's a legend, so we'll go there.
You don't need to suck up to Jason. Get those in because we have sold out every single year. So if you are just interested in sponsoring a hole or donating a raffle prize and such, all proceeds go to help benefit Backyard Dreams. So we would love that. Just reach out if you're interested in that. But just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour here. So we will get to, we haven't really touched on Brewers Dodgers yet to preview it. But we're going to get to that coming up in the next hour. So big series coming to Milwaukee, and we'll dabble a little bit into the Cardinals one too, because with Monday not being in here, we'll take a look, because that's a huge series too the way the Cardinals are playing. So,
and here's the thing I was thinking about too, and I just want to double check. We got a minute.
Yeah, we got a minute.
With the way the rotation works out, because like really outside of maybe Yamamoto, neither team is really throwing much in the way of like their aces.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the Brewers that's a good thing, because if you can plan it to have both Harrison and Mizorowski throw against the Cubs and then the Cardinals, to me that's more important than the Dodgers.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And look, and on the Dodgers end, they're coming off a series with the Padres. It's kind of the similar boat.
Ooh, yeah.
Where I'm sure they would prefer having Ohtani lined up for that series versus this one.
Right.
Which I mean, it's obviously maybe a bit of a bummer for
fans or
that maybe you want to see Ohtani pitch, but you're still going to get to see him hit, and that is
that's the cool thing about it. You get to be able to, because he's going to be hitting for sure. So
hopefully not well, but he will be hitting.
Yep. Or kind of like when I took Hudson, Judge hit a home run, but the Brewers still won. So,
best case scenario.
Best of all worlds. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off here in 30 seconds. So we've got some news updates, and we're going to continue to preview this series. Final call, or I guess not really final call, but the final hour if you want to chime in. Hit us up, 715-830-1912, or on that Section 105 chat room on our video stream. So you can join in on the conversation over there. Quick break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes to kick off the final hour after these quick words. All right, final hour kicking off right now before we're off for a couple days. We get the weekend and, of course, Memorial Day weekend. Aaron, dude, says no idea flight for. I was wondering if you guys were going to sign up. I'm also waiting to hear back from you for the card thing there, Aaron. So come on, dude, gotta send it back, Paul Molitor, dude. So, but yeah, all right. I wasn't sure if you guys signed up or not, so we got to have those guys over there, for sure. But all right, let's talk some Brewers, Dodgers. You mentioned a little bit with the pitching. Yeah, you look at Yamamoto's the Sunday start.
I believe
he's
so, yeah.
got over there, but. And I know some Brewers fans are probably looking. It's like, okay, Logan Henderson, okay, not bad, but he's not a Jacob Mizorowski, Robert Gasser.
Even though isn't the thing like he has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in the start yet?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. He's not that bad. I think he had 2 against the Yankees when we were there.
Right.
The solo shot to Judge, and then after that it was like a double or an RBI double. But yeah, still, it's not bad. Okay, it's I get the excitement surrounding the Harrison and Mizorowski and such, but. Again, I think, you go, if you could get a series win, especially a sweep against the Cubs, you take that over, or it would be great to beat the Dodgers and such. And that's what we're all hoping for. And they still can.
Yeah,
right?
some is good, more is better.
Right. And so I think this is, if we look at tonight's game with Logan Henderson, talk about another big opportunity too, right? Going up against a premier team, the Dodgers. He's already done it with the Yankees, but I mean, a team maybe you're going to face in the postseason. But for a young guy in his rookie year, I'm just looking for growth, continued growth from Logan Henderson at this point. Is that kind of what's your expectation? Or outside of wins, obviously, but just the continued success and stacking success for Logan Henderson.
I think so. I mean, it's. He's someone that's still developing his pitch mix. It's kind of been finding something to go along with that fastball changeup, which, generally if you're a starter, you need more than 2 pitches.
Right.
And that's kind of been the work in progress for him. But, I mean, it's encouraging that it's a work in progress, and yet he's still been so good.
Right.
So, just kind of developing that, kind of fine-tuning what you got and what works.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got Robert Gaswitz. 2 years ago, I think he was like the talk of town. In his 5 games, he was 2-0. He had a big win against the Cubs. I think it was Craig Counsell's first game back in Milwaukee. And then Tommy John, last year we just got to see him for a hot minute and, made 1 start against the Twinnies. So is it still just trying to get back to that 2020 form?
I think so. And, he obviously the first inning of the game against the Twins was rough. He racked up his pitch count. But, he still kept them in that. So it's maybe now that he's on a little bit more of a regular – he's more like a regular. Trying to find what's the word. The word is escaping me, but more of like a standard schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gets it's kind of when you get called up from AAA, it's like okay, and then you're going to start. Like even if you're there a day or 2 early, it's still a little different because you go from doing one thing to another. Now he's maybe got a chance to settle in a little bit.
Right.
I'm sure he knew after that last start. Okay, this is our plan. We're going to have you. You're going to be making this start here as well, so he can just. Settle in a little bit, get a little more comfort, get his routine down, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, you're right. 2 years ago, it was kind of like, oh, this is the young guy. He was famously one of the guys in the Josh Hader trade.
Yeah.
Which maybe is still on people's minds. I don't know, but but I
don't really hear about that anymore.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't. But just a chance for him to make a good impression because there's still. I mean, if this team wants to keep Chad Patrick in the bullpen, which I would like to see them do,
I would too.
There's opportunity there, and as a guy that's had some success, maybe he can build on the last start. And he gets an opportunity, obviously, against a premier team.
Is Coleman Crowe still on or did he get sent back down?
No, I think he got sent down after he made the start. Because I think that was when Gasser got called, that ended up with Gasser getting called back up.
Okay. I must have missed it. I couldn't remember and such. So okay. Would you have kept with Robert over Coleman Crowe?
I don't have a problem with it.
Is Coleman Crowe almost like the Logan Henderson from last year?
Kind of.
And I say that because I remember we had the conversation with Logan Henderson last year. It was just like he just needs maybe another pitch or kind of fine tune on a couple things.
It's still developed for him. I also think maybe part of it too with Robert Gasser is since he's a little bit older and a little bit further along, it's kind of almost like, okay, let's give him the opportunity and kind of see what we have here because, he is 27. And he is someone that's been on the 40-man roster a few years, so I don't know how many options he has left. But, like, he's someone that's further along and maybe you want to try to find a more definitive answer for. Whereas Coleman Crow has done everything you could ask for in his first 2 starts. But it's like he's still a young guy. Like, there's still maybe some polish that can go on there. Robert Gasser, you're kind of maybe getting to the point where you need to kind of see what he has to offer and give him that opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's because that's the I don't know if it's a good comp, but I remember having the conversation last year with Logan Henderson because I think a lot of people was like, why is he not on the roster? Why is he still not on here? He got off to a really good start, and it was just maybe a little fine-tuning yet to get going. And, well, here we are. So we could be in the same spot next year with Coleman Crow.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. So, and then we talked a little bit about Brandon Sproat earlier on, but he's going to get the start on Sunday. And like you said, we saw what he could do. In the last couple games, I think after a rough start to the season, he's really settled down, I think.
I think so, yeah. And it's just a matter, he's, I think, more consistently showing what his stuff can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have a power sinker in the upper 90s, like, I always just in general kind of maybe gravitate towards pitchers with that pitch mix because you don't have to strike people out to get outs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like Abner Uribe, where when it's working for him, like, yeah, not only is he able to blow that pitch by people, but you can still get ground balls with it.
Right.
Like, it's almost like you have multiple ways you can win.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, for whatever reason, guys aren't swinging and missing on your stuff, you can still get ground balls with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, some of the other off-speed stuff has kind of worked in play too, but you see why the team is so excited about him because stuff-wise, he's got some of the best stuff on the staff. I mean, you're just not going to be able to say anyone has better stuff than Jacob Misarowski, but like he has that electric, pitch selection or pitch mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maybe fine-tuning it, but also just maybe trying to maintain his stuff deeper into starts because that just seems like that's been the thing the last few starts is he's just kind of run out of gas.
Mm-hmm. Not to get too far off, but obviously Quinn Priester still seems like he's struggling here a little bit. I just wonder with the depth that they got, and they don't need to rush it, but it's almost giving me Corbin Burns vibes from year 2. And I know this one he's had an injury and he's trying to come back from and such, but it's trending where I wonder if we're even going to see Quinn Priester this year.
Yeah, that's a really good thought because he tried to avoid the surgery, and at some point, like, if he's still continuing to have his struggles in minor league rehabs, you just say, look, we're just going to bite the bullet on this.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have you get the surgery. We feel good about the coverage we have here, and just kind of let you have all the time you need to rest and just maybe have 2027 in mind.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, like the depth. I mean, look at the Cubs right now with all they're kind of like the Brewers from last year with a lot of their starting
at the start of the year
injuries and such. And Brewers, the depth the fact that you can just call up a Robert Gasser or a Logan Henderson or even a Coleman Crow, any of those guys and then you have a Chad Patrick in the pen that can get you a start here or there. And
right. And you've got some other guys that, I mean, look, if they absolutely need to, I'm sure Jake Woodford could, get do a spot start there. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that at the start of the year, we could say Quinn Priester might not make a single appearance all year and the rotation will be fine.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, that's just kind of the Brewers, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And you go back to the offseason with all those moves that they made, and now you can kind of see what maybe they were envisioning.
Right. And I think at this point, it's almost one of those things where, and I think that Matt Arnold has probably earned the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking about this a couple days ago. You go back a decade to when the Brewers traded Jonathan Lucroy and Carlos Gomez. And I think the response was a lot different than what we see now when they trade, very popular, best players on the team, where at that time it's like, what are they doing that for? Like, how are you going to win if you're trading your best players? But it's like, yeah, but that team wasn't in a spot really to win.
Mm-hmm.
And, but now, like, yeah, I think like fans are, if were disappointed when the Brewers traded Freddie Peralta because, maybe he was your favorite player. He's a good pitcher. But I think fans kind of understand it a little bit more now. Just kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to, the financials and stuff like that. Plus, the Brewers have generally done pretty well in these. Now, they haven't won them all. Like, I'm not going to say, Matt Arnold always fleeces when he trades. That's not true. But, like, I think fans have seen it work enough to where they will say, okay, yeah, we really like Freddie Peralta. He might be my favorite player. But at the very least, I have faith that this could work out.
Mm-hmm. since you're talking about Matt Arnold here, I want to play this clip. This was from Foul Territory, the podcast and such, and Bob Nightingale was on it, and I believe it's at Brzezinski.
AJ Brzezinski, yes.
Yeah, AJ Brzezinski on here, and they're talking a little bit about Pat Murphy and Matt Arnold. I think this is kind of an interesting clip. Here it is, audio courtesy from Foul Territory.
Is Matt Arnold the best GM in baseball or president of baseball ops, whatever his title is right now? And then is Pat Murphy the best manager in baseball? Because they lose everybody. You name it, they lose it. They lose Freddie Peralta this year, right? Devin Williams, Willie Adames, Corbin Burns. Everybody's gone. Oh, boo-hoo, the Brewers are going to stink. And here they are. They go into Wrigley. They smack the Cubs around, and they just keep winning games. You mentioned Harrison. Harrison is, 5 or 6-0 with a 1-something ERA. They just, whoever they throw out there seems to fit. Are these two the best duo in front office manager in baseball?
It's an unbelievable duo. You're right. I mean, if we're talking about, Alex Anthopoulos of Atlanta, Andrew Freeman of LA, Matt Arnold's right there at Mount Rushmore with him. Can you imagine if Matt had some money to spend? But yeah, he's unbelievable. Then you talk about Murphy. If he wins the National League Manager of the Year award, they should, change the name to the Murph Award. It's unbelievable what he does. He gets so much out of that talent. I mean, look how people they've traded over the years. They traded Freddie Peralta, Corbin Burns, 2 all-star closers, and Devin Williams and Josh Hader, and they don't blink. But, hey, if I'm a team, I don't not trade with Matt Arnold. It's unbelievable what he does. And, look what Harrison's doing. Again, this for Caleb Durbin. All the guys they touch, the kid yesterday, Hamilton, gets a little league home run and a triple. So, yeah, you want to play for the Brewers. They get the most out of you. They know when to move a player to and when to acquire a player. So, yeah, I can't imagine what they would do with a $200 million payroll.
There you go. So, again, that's audio courtesy from Foul Territory, plus a little sound effect from my email. That's how it went through there, too. So, but, all right. Pat Murphy, Matt Arnold's Bob Nightingale, who covers Major League Baseball, saying he should be right up there in the Mount Rushmore for current general manager.
Right,
I think,
yes.
But, I mean, that's numbers and
it's hard to argue.
Right.
It's hard to argue. And it's funny because, hearing what would Matt Arnold do with $200 million payroll? But at the same time, that was kind of what it was said about David Stearns.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just one of those things he can't. He wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you don't have a lot of money, then suddenly you win the lottery, you may not know what to do.
We talk about Pat Murphy. Would he succeed with a roster like a Dodgers or a Yankees? Or could you say that about Matt Arnold?
I don't know, maybe. And I've always kind of thought that Pat Murphy was a perfect fit for the younger roster the Brewers have because he's a longtime college coach. Maybe that his sort of, kind of hard-nosed style, maybe it wouldn't work as well with certain veterans.
And, we kind of talked about that earlier in the week, and a lot of people, I think, made a good point. The one veteran or superstar on the team was Yelich, and then maybe that's the perfect one to buy into the Murphy message, too.
Right.
And you're not saying like an Aaron Judge couldn't or anything like that, but, kind of a low-key, level-headed.
Well, that's kind of Aaron Judge anyway.
Right,
I'm trying to think of a superstar that's maybe a little more outgoing, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
More of an alpha. I mean, not to say that those guys aren't alphas, but they're more laid back. They don't have to always be the conversation.
Yes. I think you see a lot of that, like an NBA player type of thing.
Right.
Baseball, I think it's
different.
It's different because I honestly was trying a couple weeks ago trying to figure that out or trying to think who is, when you think about the stars in baseball, they're really not a lot of me. Judge is not a me guy.
No, he's not. No.
Ohtani's not a me guy.
Yeah, for the most part, it's kind of, you go back to even a Mike Trout.
Right.
Those guys are more of, they have the spotlight, but they're not seeking the spotlight.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of a nice breath of fresh air, to be honest with you.
It is.
But I think a lot helps that, and to be real, though, too, I mean, Murphy isn't just fresh out of college either.
No, right? It's been a bad.
But he does have that background that I think helps, but to have the buy-in from guys like a Yelich.
And it's more of I still think he has more of a college coach temperament.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. It's you talk about that duo too. And it just seems to be a duo that I don't know if the Stearns and is it like a Stearns and Counsell duo worked for, they won a lot of games. Let's give them credit to where credit's due, right? They won games. But it seems like, and we talk about this a lot in football with the GM and head coach relationship, it sure seems like Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy are lock in step. And, there is times, I know like this past offseason, Murphy kind of made comments about, well, yeah, it'd be nice to have a bigger pro, or I'd like this player, but that's not my decision and sort of thing. I think Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy are okay. They've got a pretty good, solid working relationship.
Right, and that obviously that goes even beyond those two, because look, part of the reason they've got this young group, young staff, is because of your scouts and stuff like that. Like, look, when it's draft time or when it's time to make a trade, like Matt Arnold doesn't know. Like Matt Arnold probably knew Kyle Harris, but it's like Matt Arnold doesn't know everything about all of these other organizations. That's where you trust your scouts, like the NFL draft. Like a GM isn't someone saying, well, I like this player, I'm picking this player.
He's not the only one sitting in the room and going all the pro days or games and stuff. Yeah.
Right. You have your people you trust. They give you the information, and then you make the decisions off of that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And this just kind of popped in my head. You go back to the offseason, how Murphy kind of retooled the coaching staff, and he kind of calls it the offensive coordinator. You look at this offense, Brandon, they're dead last in home runs, but they're top 5, top 6, 7 in runs scored.
I mean, obviously, we were familiar with the space stealing, the aggressive nature on the bases, and really, is that not like the perfect encapsulation and like the perfect vision of the type of player Daniel Vollback was when he was with the Brewers?
I never.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But like, it's interesting that this team has been able to do that. And look,
is it Erickson is like or is it Lane that's the offensive coordinator?
I don't remember offhand.
Okay,
but
I think it's Lane.
Like, ultimately, this team's going to have to hit more home runs. I think we kind of saw that in the Dodgers series last year. Like, they're going to have to. But just because they aren't now doesn't mean they won't. And things may change and whatever. But, like, you're going to have to hit home runs. Like, you can't be last in the majors and win a World Series. Like, that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it is encouraging right now that that's not necessarily clicking. And yet,
Jason Lane's official title is offense and strategy coordinator. So, just kind of interesting that that's the title, and you kind of see how this offense is. I mean, they're top 5 in runs scored per game too. Dead last in home run. I don't know if that's a part of the strategy in the offense that was there, but it seems to be working as of right now. But I agree with you. I think at some point, I don't know if that's going to be via a trade deadline. Do you get a power bat? Right now, I like their top 6 if it's Cheerio, Terrain, Contreras, Yelich, Bowers, and then Vaughn.
Yeah.
But if you can add maybe another power guy, it just kind of seems to be, all right, now you really got something there. Because I know I'm biased, but, Frelick hitting at the bottom is still.
I still like, I don't think Sal Frelick's in any danger of losing his spot, a spot. But and look, a lot of that we know is going to come down to the left side of the infield.
Mm-hmm.
What are you getting out of third base? What are you getting out of shortstop?
Yeah.
And, right now, we're kind of starting to maybe see the rubber meet the road a little bit because both Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt are heating up. And we're kind of getting to that time where a decision might be made.
Yeah.
Because you want to give those guys time, because baseball is such a long season. Like, you can't judge off of a month. Because if someone has a bad month in July, but they have a good year, you don't remember it.
Right.
But if someone has a bad month in, like for April, in May, it seems like the worst thing in the world.
Right.
And obviously with Joey Ortiz, it's a continuation of what we saw last year. Luis Rendifo, it's a little bit different because he's a veteran. But we're kind of, we may be getting to that point coming up here in the next week or two where suddenly that calendar turns to June. If it's 2 months of struggling, it's a conversation you really need to have, especially if Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt continue to get better and better and better.
Yeah, because they're hitting really well right now at AAA. And I just, do you worry about a chemistry? Like, let's say Joey Ortiz.
Yeah.
Is there a chemistry potential?
I think that's part of it, and that's something that I think we maybe don't think about enough when it comes to baseball. With it being an everyday thing, I mean, these are guys that are together from February to ideally October, every single day. So, I mean, it makes a difference because let's say you call up Cooper Pratt. What do you do with Ortiz?
Right.
Do you leave him on the roster because he's still a great defender? But it's like, but Cooper Pratt's not going to get subbed out because he's a good defender too at shortstop. So then, he's not going to play second base. But like, then are you having him playing third base, or you're having him do that on the fly? It's like, well, then what's the difference? Like, are you sending him down? I mean, this is a guy that's been on the team the last few years, and it's just like, yeah, that's something that has to be considered, and it's something that we as fans probably don't make enough consideration for.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, the production has to matter.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, the numbers and what you produce offensively has to matter, especially for a team that it's always going to come down to offense. Like the last several years, when this team's been knocked out of the playoffs, why has it been? Because the offense has not produced at a high enough level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you feel like this pitching staff right now, you have, I know it's May, but okay, I'll just say better than last year heading into the postseason? More confident?
I think I would be more confident because of, you kind of look at how they kind of manufactured things a little bit last year. You knew you had Peralta, and Priester you felt pretty good about. But then otherwise, you were kind of...
We were wondering, is Miz going to be a starter? He's coming out of the pen because he was kind of...
Yeah, they were kind of bouncing a ping-ponging around a little bit. Jose Quintana was in there. Like, what do you... how does it work? Like, and you're able to do that a little bit more in the postseason, but... your top two, you feel pretty good about. We would, like if it was the playoffs right now, obviously Mizrowski 1, Harrison 2. We don't know about Woodruff. Sounds encouraging from his bullpen sessions. It sounds like it might not be too much longer. We'll see.
Right.
But Logan Henderson would have to be in that mix. All he's done is pitch well.
Yeah. I again, I'll use the Matt LaFleur, the 5 best will play, and to me, Logan Henderson's a top 5 starting pitcher in this rotation.
Yeah, the best will play. Yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. We'll be right back after these few words. As Brandon and I usually do, we kind of ran a little long, so we will catch up on breaks here in a couple minutes and such. But, I was looking at this yesterday, Brandon, and again, I get it. It's still, we're at the end of May. But looking at the standings in Major League Baseball right now, and if you are one, and who knows if this will even hold up, but if you're one that's hoping for salary caps and such, just take a look at the division leaders. Especially in the American League. Tampa, Cleveland, the Athletics. They're all your division leaders right now.
The National League is really with the Dodgers and the Braves.
Dodgers, Braves, Brewers. Yeah.
It's kind of where it's at, but.
Mm-hmm. But it just, on one hand, I'm like, good. I like that. Then the other hand, it's like, that's going to come back to bite in negotiations.
Well, I'm going to say also, let's wait and see how the end of the year looks.
Right. But I think it's kind of funny right now, But Tampa, at the beginning of the year, we were just.
I blame myself because I feel like every year we've done our picks, I've always had Tampa in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I'm just like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
And I should have known better.
33-15.
Jeez.
33-15.
I should have known better.
Big series coming up. They got the Yankees.
Don't doubt the Rays. I mean, especially like last year, not playing at home. I think that was just kind of one of those years.
Yeah. And then, Cleveland, Stephen Vogt's got, and I know before the Brewers went with Pat Murphy, you threw out Stephen Vogt.
He was one I really wanted. I believe in Stephen Vogt.
Yeah, and they're 9-1 in their last 10, so they're above the White Sox.
He would have fit well in Milwaukee, I think.
Yep. If there was between Vogt and Murphy for a team that was going to go in and try to poach him, it'd probably be Vogt, I would think, right? How the Cubs kind of did with Counsell.
Yeah, because I feel like Murph at this point, like the next thing he does is he's just going to retire.
Yeah, and it's an age thing.
It's an age thing, but
But I was looking at that yesterday. I'm like, but then it's like, that might come back, depending on how it all plays out. There were a lot of.
Let's put it this way: if we get a Brewers-Rays World Series, I'm willing to take that risk.
Mm-hmm. I agree. How do you view the Memorial Day benchmark when it comes to baseball?
I mean, I think it's fair. Like, I'll be honest, outside of hey, I kind of, within the last week, there was a discussion of just like where the Brewers were relative to the Cubs, and the Cubs were leading the division, and the fact that the NL Central had everybody above 500. But I'll be honest, I haven't kept a super close eye on the standings. Like, I'm fine with okay, that's the first time you can really take a look at it.
Because we're, maybe a quarter of the way through the second quarter of the season, maybe not even that far.
Right, so like a third.
Yeah, so it's... Yeah, I think it's one of those it's one of those, it's so hard for baseball, I think, to have a benchmark. Like, Memorial Day is a benchmark, but I don't know how to define it because you could say, because I've gone back and forth on this all week and I keep changing my mind. Well, we could know what the players are really like, but we've seen players get better than we've seen these runs and, they get to the postseason.
So
even look at the Brewers last year, for crying out loud, right? I mean, so players could change. Football's different because there's few games. There's
fewer games, and it's more spaced out. So I think you just naturally have more time to talk about it.
Right. And, I mean, trade deadline could be completely,
Yeah, and that's 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
I mean, I'm a little over, but 2 months. I mean, lots got to change between now and then.
So it maybe it's just kind of one of those honorary benchmarks.
Right.
It's like, okay, Memorial Day, beginning of summer, it's baseball and all that. So I wonder, is July 4th more of a real benchmark?
Maybe.
Because it's right before the All-Star game. It's
about halfway because the All-Star game is usually a little after halfway.
Yep. And it's always around like my birthday. I know that, middle of July. And then, you got the trade deadline shortly after that too. So, and that's when you I think that's also teams at that point decide what they are. Whether they're going to be buyers, sellers, if it's close. It's going to be really interesting, especially if we get to that point and all the NL Central teams are still above 500.
Yeah, how does that work?
Prices for teams who are selling.
Yeah, it might be a seller's market.
Can you imagine if the Mets dealt Peralta to the Cubs?
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either. But, I mean, if the Cubs are desperate and the Mets keep stinking.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, it's
a legit.
It's a possibility.
Right? That'd be really weird, but...
The interesting thing too is the Cubs have some prospects, but their system isn't super duper deep. So I'm kind of curious what the Mets would be able to get back. Especially a Cubs team that I don't say they're desperate, but is motivated to buy.
Yes. If the Cubs make the postseason and it's a quick out, or miss the postseason, Craig Counsell in trouble? Or do you think he has?
I don't think he's in trouble. Like, I think the only way he's in legitimate, like his job would be legitimately on the line, is if like this, what we're seeing now, it's kind of, look, they've lost like 5 in a row. Like they lost 2 or 3 to the White Sox and they got swept the Brewers. But like, if this led to bigger disappointments like this year, like say this was the start of them, suddenly finishing 4th in the division, like it would have to go really bad. If they just missed the playoffs, or if they made the playoffs and lost in the wild card round, I don't think he'd be fired.
Is this, because I've seen Cubs fans using this on social media, that Craig Counsell's too even keeled, and you chuckle probably because we've seen that,
well,
right?
And that's kind of what I've seen too. Because I've seen the same things, and like even seen like some Chicago radio hosts like Craig Counsell needs to get fired. It's like, have you not been paying attention to Craig Counsell like throughout his life?
Right.
Like, and that's just how he is. Like he's had success doing that, but that's just his temperament. Like,
does that temperament fit for Chicago?
Maybe it doesn't fit for the media and the fans in Chicago, but like,
True.
It was a little bit easier for him. And I know it was a point of contention with Brewers fans too when he was in Milwaukee, but like maybe it fit better in Milwaukee because it was a little more laid back. But
would you say Pat Murphy is a little bit more fiery?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
he does it in a subtle way, I think, at times.
Yeah.
Sal Free overruns a base. Well, then he gets called out and he gets benched the next game.
Right.
What if Pat Murphy was managing Pete Crow Armstrong right now?
I'm not sure he would have played Wednesday.
That's what I'm saying.
And not even like necessarily a punishment, but maybe just to give him a day. Again, and then they had the off day. Like, give him a couple days.
Because he's still I think one thing that Pat Murphy does really well, he empowers players. And I still go back to this quote. It was Pat Murphy's first year and Craig Counsell, and they were getting set for that series. And Craig Counsell single-handedly pointed to Bryce Terang and gave a lot of credit to Pat Murphy because of the improvements.
The quantum leap quote.
Yeah, and I still remember Pat Murphy saying, "We're going to give him a chance to hit left-handed hitters or left-handed pitchers." Empowered him, and now it works. He's done that.
And he's also gotten like Joey Ortiz last year, where he's like, I won't say he'll call players out, but he will publicly state expectations need to be met.
Yeah, or he'll drop a line like, "Yeah," and the manager's pissed.
That
stuff
was the
like
line.
that.
Yeah. Something about something happens and and the manager's pissed.
Yeah, so it's those subtle, but what he wants or what his expectation is.
But it is funny to me seeing that kind of discussion from Cubs fans, but also the media, where they're like, this is all stuff that Brewers fans had talked about at times, where it's like, you need to see more, because like he always just kind of has like. Craig just always kind of has the look of like the disappointed dad.
Yeah.
And like
there was an image, I was walking by TV one of the game, and he had his hat off and he's kind of rubbing it. I'm like, so when you said that, that's what it looked like.
And like in every press conference or media availability, you're going to hear a minimum of like 5. Like before he said, and it's not even like he's like disappointed. He'll just be like either or knows.
And he's got like kind of does the eye and the head bob like.
Yeah. Yeah, like even when it's going well, like that's not just the way he acts if they're struggling. Like that's who he is. Like it's.
Or at least Murph, he may not be like a the Twins guy, Derek
Shelton. Yeah.
Just the face on him, like when he gets that chin out, and then it's like okay.
You can just tell like he's PO'd.
Yep.
Yeah, like Murph, and there's times where Murph will get after it and stuff, but they're. You can see why him and Counsell work together as a tandem, because it was very much like it almost feels like maybe good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. And I go back to the Moustakas thing from a few months ago when he was on a podcast when he first got to Milwaukee, and it was like his first game, and like he got out and he comes back to Doug. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it'll be better." And like second one, he's like, and he said Murphy's like, "It'll be fine, you're good." And Counsell was still manager obviously at that time. It was like the third time he got out, he gets back to dugout. Murphy goes, "They ain't gonna cut it." And besides, like, what? And Counsell turned to Murphy. He's like, he doesn't understand us yet. He doesn't understand your personality.
Yeah, he doesn't understand you're giving him crap.
Right. Yeah. Sort of thing.
Right. And the infamous story about Murphy and Sal Frelick with when it comes to Dustin Pedroia, where that was Frelick's guy, and obviously Pat Murphy knows Pedroia, and then ultimately he ended up meeting. But at the time, he's like, oh, he sucks. And just walks away. And Frelick's like, what? Like, did I just like tick off this guy, this coach? And you realize, like, no, he's giving you crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the story, too, where Murphy got, like, was it the business school, college in Boston to send Frelick an acceptance letter? So Frelick thought he was going to have to go to business school. I mean, I think it's stuff like that. It's tough love at times. Yeah,
right.
But if it's perfect.
It's one of those things where, like, if you kid with people, like, that shows you care. Like, if someone doesn't do that with you, with certain people, then you know you're in trouble. Yeah,
that's a coach quote too. I've heard quite a bit from a friend of mine who's a really good youth coach, and he always tells his players, if I stop talking to you, that means I don't care. But if I'm like talking to you and I'm on you, it's because I know you got something, and that sort of thing. So, all right, we got to take a quick break, then we got to do another one before we do picks. So we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. It is on at 1 o'clock today. Brandon's favorite race, the weenie race. Oscar Mayer wiener race. 1 o'clock, Indy. Mark, step on the gas pedal and get going so you can tune into it. Brandon's got the breakdown coming up in picks here in just a little bit. We are a little bit behind here, so we'll have to take another break before we get to our picks and such. But really quick, since we're not going to be here on Monday, Brewers Cardinals. So we know Miz is going to be in that series. We know Kyle Harrison's going to be in that series too. And then probably who would be the other one on there?
Well, it would probably. I mean, it would be
Who opened up against the Cubs?
Oh, it went Mizorowski. It would be Sproat, wouldn't it?
Would it be Sproat?
I think it would
Oh,
be.
okay, so
yeah, I think it'd be Sproat.
No. Sproat pitches on Sunday, so he wouldn't go.
Okay,
against the
so
Cardinals.
then Mizorowski's.
Would it be Logan Henderson then?
I think so.
Okay, because Logan's
Friday,
got
Saturday,
today.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Or do they call up somebody and
Or yeah, because they've been utilizing the extra day.
Yeah,
So maybe they call somebody up for Gasser.
that or
Send down or something.
maybe it depends on if Chad Patrick gets used a lot and
Yeah.
maybe do a little spot start. So,
Yeah.
but we know at least two of the three,
Right.
more so. But Cardinals easily probably one of the bigger surprises, unless you are a Cardinals fan. Bigger surprise so far in Major League Baseball. Just think we kind of looked at this as maybe a retool year, moving on from some guys and such. But hey, they've been hitting above expectations, so it's going to be a tough challenge. Second time the Brewers will be facing the Cardinals. They only played 2 games because one of them rain delayed or rain postponed until July. So, but yeah, another back-to-back series with the Dodgers and Cardinals. It's going to be a tough one going up against the Cardinals. Never overlook the Redbirds.
No.
But still, with it being the end of May, you look at that series. Is it still a crucial early division series because of where the things are standing up?
Yes.
Can we say it's still crucial even though it is May?
Yep.
All right. Just wanted to make sure that we weren't kind of overdoing it or over hyping it up in that. So, do you want to get to picks?
Yeah, but do you have to take another break?
I do. So that's why I'm asking if you want to
Yeah,
get to picks.
take a break and then we'll come back and do picks.
All right, because we only got 9 minutes,
Wow.
but it's going to be less after our break. So we'll do that. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. let's jump right into it. We've got picks to wrap up this Friday morning. Let's get to the since you got the numbers and the stats and the odds or whatever it is over there. I'll let you tee it off.
All right. Well, I mean, we can start first of all with the Weenie 500, which for those of you that didn't listen earlier, it's a 2-lap race around Indianapolis Motor Speedway featuring 6 Oscar Mayer Wiener mobiles.
Wait. It says it's the 500. You're telling me it's only 2 laps? Is this false advertising?
Maybe that represents the calories.
Okay. That's not a lot of calories on.
No, it's not.
Well,
so there's one representing each. There's a hot dog that represents each region of the country.
Okay.
You have the slaw dog.
Yep.
You have the New York dog.
Okay.
The corn dog. The chili dog.
Ooh.
The Seattle dog.
Okay.
And the chai dog, which
Chicago
is
one.
Chicago one. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, last year the slaw dog won.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean
They don't have odds. They just pick one.
no, there are no. You cannot. I don't think you can bet on this.
Oh, contrast.
I don't think you can bet on this on like major betting platforms. You can bet on anything.
Yeah.
All right, so who you got?
I'm going based off of which dog I would eat first in a power ranking, so I'm going chili dog.
Okay, I'm going corn dog.
Okay.
Corn dog.
That'd be my second.
Yeah, corn dog. So
The older I have gotten, become more appreciative of the corn dog.
yeah.
Probably because of its easiness.
Oh
to
yeah,
eat.
it's very mobile.
Yes.
It's very and yeah.
I haven't had a chili dog in a long time. I've
Neither
had a
have
corn
I.
dog recently, but
Sonic the Hedgehog's favorite food.
yeah. So
All right, so going to Sunday, the Indianapolis 500. Who you got?
give me some odds.
All right, Alex Palou is at 250.
I'll look it up here.
You can look up your own numbers. I don't need to read this.
I am gonna go. Well, you go first.
Okay.
While this loads up.
Been thinking a lot about this. I'm gonna go Connor Daly.
Okay.
He's at, according to DraftKings, he's at plus 700. So he's got the third best odds.
I'm gonna go with a name that I know, Helio.
Elio Castroneves. Yeah.
Why not? Because I know him. So
He's at plus 2,500.
yep. Got it. What's show? Okay, never mind. Because I saw 3-1. Win, place, and show.
Yeah, win, place, show. Which I mean, that's more of something you hear in horse racing, but the same rules apply.
Otherwise, I was gonna go with Scott McLaughlin because that's a similar name to a former GM in football. Used to work for the Packers. Maybe it's the same guy. I don't know. But okay, should we do some baseball?
Let's do some baseball.
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 We got 4 minutes. So we're doing
Speed run.
We'll just do the weekend series. I know
Yeah.
we're not here Monday, so we'll just do the weekend series here. Houston, Chicago Cubs.
I'm going to go with the Astros.
I'll go Cubs. Cleveland, Philadelphia.
Philly. They're hot.
They are. Sanchez is on the mound today, too, so I'll go Philly. St. Louis, Cincinnati.
I'm going to go Reds.
I'm going to go Reds, too. More so because I want it. Big one, Tampa versus the Yankees.
I'm going to go with Tampa.
Oh, Tampa. Judge ain't playing that great right now, so there, yeah. But Garrett Cole's making his debut today, but I'm still go Tampa. Pittsburgh, Toronto.
Pittsburgh.
I'll go Toronto. Twins, Boston.
Boston.
Twins. Mets, Miami.
Miami.
Mets. Detroit, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Detroit. Washington, Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Seattle, Kansas City.
Seattle.
Texas, Angels.
Texas.
Athletics, Padres.
Padres.
Rockies, Diamondbacks.
D-backs.
D-backs. White Sox, Giants.
Ooh, I'm going to go White Sox.
So am I. Dodgers, Brewers.
I'm going to go Dodgers 2 or 3.
I'm going to go Dodgers 2 or 3 as well. So that's, yeah. But obviously we're rooting for the opposite. +1. A sweep.
+1.
+1. Sweep.
So, yeah. You got any big plans for your weekend?
We actually don't have baseball for once, so that's kind of nice.
Want to go golfing tomorrow?
I might be going to land tomorrow. I have not been there yet. I got to get some trail cams and get some stuff.
Took me a second. I thought you said I might be going to Atlanta tomorrow.
Or that. Could be the same. I don't know yet, but we're for sure going on a week from today.
Yeah, we are.
I have not swung a club yet, so I might have to hit up a range and just
I've went
warm
3
up.
times this year, and every time I've gotten worse. So maybe you're probably in a good place.
Maybe.
I get worse every time I go.
Maybe, but gosh, I gotta make sure I got enough tees and golf balls for Friday because we're going over to Tanglewood.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Tanglewood.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, shot clock's gonna cut us off after Well, in about a minute here, too. So, really quick, we've got Thunder Spurs tonight.
Yeah.
Really quick, who are you picking? We'll throw that one in here, too.
Spurs.
I'm going to go Thunder. Big win last night, though, for Montreal over Carolina.
Game
6
one.
goals.
Explosion there. So
I don't know if that's one of those prime examples of Carolina had a little nice break, and we've seen that before.
We talked about that with the Cavs and the Knicks, where what do you want? Do you want rest or do you want to just keep playing?
Yep.
And I think those two games you kind of see both ends of the spectrum.
Yep. And then tonight, Vegas, Colorado. Vegas took game 1.
Colorado.
Colorado even it up too. So, all right, 30 seconds. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. And again, a big thanks to all those who have served, continue to serve, and to those who are no longer with us. Thank you for your service. We will not be in on Monday, so we'll be back on Tuesday, hopefully talking about a good series against the Dodgers and a Game 1 win against the pesky Redbirds of St. Louis. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Have fun. We'll talk to you all on Tuesday.